Well, good evening. A very warm welcome to Saint-Quentin-en-Yvelines, this wonderful velodrome, as we get ready for another night of great racing. An absolutely capacity crowd here in this velodrome, which is now the National Cycling Centre of France, built and opened in January 2014, 8 metres wide as far as the track is concerned, which gives us a very different racing to some of the racing that we're used to on the tracks across the world. This is what we're going to see tonight. The women's sprint semi-finals, the women's scratch race will be decided. We'll also bring you the men's Omnium points race throughout the night, the men's Omnium continuing throughout tonight, and that will decide the gold medals. We then have the finals of the men's individual pursuit. The qualifying was earlier on today, and we bring the women's sprint to its conclusion. We'll have the victory ceremony later on in tonight's show. The women's Omnium elimination race will be at the end of the night. So here we are, as usual, in the centre of the velodrome, wandering around the pens to see who is in action. Here is Ellis Litley. Ellis, of course, will be in the semi-finals of the women's sprint. The track conditions look like this tonight, 25 degrees centigrade, again nice and warm. The spectator capacity 5,000. I think it's pretty much full in here tonight. It feels even busier than it has on any other night. So the atmosphere is very, very good in this velodrome this evening. These fans are going to cheer on all the French, and hopefully they'll give a few bits of applause to the rest of the countries. Well, here's our commissaires panel. They've been busy. They dished out a lot of fines yesterday for things that happened on the track. There was a lot of changes of decisions throughout qualification. They have to make sure the rules and regulations are absolutely adhered to. It's not an easy job, but these guys are the guys that do it. Well, there was a major upset in the sprint qualifying heats today as 2012 Olympic champion Jason Kenny of Great Britain here was eliminated by Leslie Camelon in the last 16 ride-off. A shaky start into the sprint for Francois Purvis, the superstar, who had to pass through the repêchages to qualify for Sunday's quarter-finals. In the men's pursuit, individual qualifying, the best time goes to Jack Bowbridge of Australia, an Olympic silver medalist, but of course he's just gone for the world hour record. He'll face last year's runner-up, Stefan Kung of Switzerland, in the race for the gold later on in the evening. The men's Omnium, the 1 kilometre time trial. 2 events were held this afternoon. In the 1 kilometre time trial, Fernando Gaviria consolidated his lead with the 4th fastest time, whilst Glenn O'Shea of Australia moved up the rankings by clocking the 2nd fastest time, moving up from 6th place and into the bronze medal position. Elia Viviani established the fastest time in the flying lap event, reducing the deficit over event leader Fernando Gaviria of Colombia to only 6 points. An ecstatic Viviani. There's only 1 event left in the Omnium. This is how the results look. After the starting gun went on for the women's Omnium, in the first event, the 10-kilometre scratch race, the winner was from Lithuania. Ozrin Trubaita crosses the finish line, and she had lapped the peloton. But with the 2nd fastest time in the individual pursuit event, Annette Edmondson of Australia The bronze medal winner of last year puts herself on top of the leaderboard after 2 events. Laura Trott, the Olympic and world champion, struggling in 7th place. Here's Christina Vogel. She'll be racing in the sprint semi-finals coming up shortly. And also Qianqi Xiong, who rode so well yesterday to dismiss Xuan Guo. Ellis Litley, we've seen her already, the rider from the Netherlands. All smiles from her this evening. She's ready for racing. And Stephanie Morton of Australia, just getting the last little bit of information from her coach, just discussing tactics so that she can try and get through to the finals. All the Australian girls have those fingernails painted. There's Amy Cure. What a fantastic championship she has had so far. Amy Cure has already won a gold and a bronze medal. Sofia Areola will be racing as well for Mexico. And these riders getting themselves focused and ready. Jolien Dora and Kelly Drutz will be up on the track for Belgium tonight. Simona Frapporti of Italy, getting her numbers pinned on, an ongoing process. Well, tonight we're going to start off with the women's sprint. And of course, yesterday we had the quarterfinals of the women's sprint. We saw Qianqi Xiong and Xuan Guo racing, and Xiong dismissed Xuan Guo. Ellis Litley was up against Simona Krupa-Kaita of Lithuania. Litley, the younger rider on the track, managed to overcome Simona Krupa-Kaita. Stephanie Morton, the Australian, racing against Jess Varnish on the track, and Morton beating Jess Varnish to the line in that contest. Christina Vogel looked like she was going to have a really tough battle yesterday with Anastasia Voinova, but Vogel has the speed, she knows the track, and you can see just getting ahead of the rider from Russia has already won a World Championship gold in these races. And here we are then. Here's the 4 who will be facing the semi-finals this evening. Again, the best of 3 runs to decide who will go through to the final. Here's the heats. Qianqi Xiong will be up against Christina Vogel. Ellis Litley racing against Stephanie Morton in the semi-finals. Best of 3 goes through to fight it out for the gold medal. Should be a great evening of racing. So they're just sitting relaxing, getting focused. They've had their warm-up already. You can just see the focus on these riders' faces as they get ready for tonight's racing. Qianqi Xiong, there's just no look at all across at anyone. They're just looking completely directly ahead. Underneath those mirrored visors, they may well be looking side to side, but right now they're quite sinister as they come out onto the track. So Christina Vogel and Qianqi Xiong will be up first in run number 1, heat number 1 of these semi-finals. Christina Vogel always has a little bit of touch of pink on her clothing, you'll notice. Less than normal when she's on her look bike compared to the other German machine that she uses in the sprints, team sprint with Miriam Velter, where she has all the little pink stickers. but she's got her usual gloves on to give her that little bit of luck, a little bit of superstition as normal from Christina Vogel as she buckles her shoes and makes sure that she's got everything nicely strapped up so that she doesn't pull her foot out. Right, so they're going to make their way onto the track and they'll line up side by side. A great camera shot above us here so we can see exactly the sort of start they get. So Jianqi Xiong then is leading off. Christina Vogel will just follow her now. Vogel, as you can see, has got the little German flag there on her left calf. She's always doing something to keep herself entertained, Christina Vogel, as they go up onto the track now. 13.8 degrees on the sides of the track. And the bankings at the end go up to around about 48 degrees and really, really tall. The 8-meter banking, very much different to any other track that we've seen in the world. And anyone who walks in here has a look around and says, God, it's very, very high. Well, this race is going to be stopped. Not entirely sure what has happened. Here's a judge. He's going to wander into the center of the track here. Ah, the judge is on the other side of the track. So there is our head, the president of the jury. Looks like the roof might have leaked a little, so they're concerned. There is a few little bits of concern on this track, and now and then if it rains outside, which it has been doing, the drips, this isn't too hot. Right, while we've got a gap in the proceedings, there's a good opportunity that we can welcome a guest in just a second.
I'll stay here. I can actually see. See, but no, yeah, and really dripping really fast. It's the same spot all the time? No, all the time, the same spot. See, two drips already. I wonder if I can get somebody up there. Like whatever it's coming out of. Yeah, because for the bunch of races will be tough. Even for the sprints, if they come high.
So the judges have got a little bit of discussion to go on here. Now I want to welcome a special guest up here in the commentary box, and it is a very warm welcome because this rider last night delighted us on the track when she, I think her victory ceremony was one of the most emotional ones I've seen in the entire week. But a very warm welcome to Rebecca Wysack from Australia. Congratulations, world champion in the individual pursuit.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's an incredible honour, and I still can't quite believe it. I've got the jersey hanging up in my room, and I didn't take it off for a long time last night, and every time I looked down, I kind of almost broke into tears because I realised that I was wearing it, and they were rainbow stripes on my back. So yeah, incredibly proud moment.
Well, yesterday we watched you, and I think you just, in commentary we were talking about, you're just trying to compose yourself. Suddenly you went from being smiling and joking and laughing and like ecstatic to suddenly the moment hit you. What was that moment like?
Definitely. When I was being announced, it was actually the French commentary when I'd been announced as the world champion in English, and then the French commentary kicked in, and I don't understand any of the French language, so it was really strange that that's actually what set me off, and I did start to tear up then, and then as Ryan Cookson awarded me with my jersey, and I actually put that on, that was when it definitely hit me that I'm the world champion, and Yeah, it was very emotional. I actually got a little bit more emotional the previous day in the women's team's pursuit. I was hanging over the barrier with some photographers and Birdie May, our team soigneur, cheering on the team's pursuit girls. And I think I cried for a couple of hours, and that was definitely mixed emotions. I would have loved to have been on the track alongside those girls, but they nailed 3 rounds, and it was pretty much perfection that we smashed the world record, won the world championships, and yeah, it was very, very special watching them achieve that, and to be a part of their preparation and be here alongside them was, yeah, definitely a very memorable day, very memorable 2 days.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yesterday, of course, it was just a day of, you looked like you rode your perfect race the whole time. Did everything just go exactly how you wanted it?
Absolutely. I looked at some of the tape, and I didn't execute my starts in either my qualifying ride or the final particularly well at all, and that's something that I still need to work on, and I think that just shows my lack of experience in the sport. I live in Canberra in Australia, and we only have an outdoor velodrome. It was shut for a year recently, and so I don't have a lot of experience on the track, haven't probably done enough gate starts, and now our focus is purely on the team's pursuit, and I'm 3rd or 4th wheel in a team's pursuit, so when we're training I'm held from that position and not in the gate, so technically I still have a lot of room for improvement. I broke the Australian record, which was, you know, more than 10 years old, and that was yeah, incredible achievement, and to know that technically I've still got some improvement to be made, that's also quite promising.
Well, let's just turn our attention to this 1 second, because we've got the situation here where there's water on the track. Now, Rebecca, you know what's happening here, because some of us are thinking the roof's leaking, but it isn't, is it?
No, we were here during the week, and obviously there's water coming from the roof. You'd think it was the rain, but we were here a week before the championships on the track every day, and it's the condensation from the roof. It's very, very cold. We're in European winters, so it's very cold outside, and the condensation's coming through the roof, so essentially it is leaking. But there were people here with mops between athletes getting on, doing their efforts in the preparation for World Champs, and you can notice that there are some stain marks on the track, and that's from the condensation dripping through. So occasionally they've panned shots to the roof and the ceiling. There's some white sheets that they've put up during the week to try and stop that. So I'm not sure if it's got too heavy and it might have leaked through a gap in the white sheets that they've put up.
And of course, as a rider, we can't race on this track right now until it's dry.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, obviously they're having discussions now and trying everything they can. I'm not sure if they'll go in between the races and try and mop that up, or actually get somebody up to investigate what's happening with the white sheet where it's leaking through. So yeah, it's definitely unsafe to have any moisture on the track. So
the racing, in terms of if we were doing individual pursuits, we'd be all right, wouldn't we?
That would be fine.
We'd be on the black line.
If you were riding that high, yeah,
it'd
be a bit of a worry. But yeah, definitely, we've got some sprint matches now, and they use all of the track. So I think probably there wouldn't be a concern for any of the timed events when you're down on the black line. But because we've got a sprint coming up and then a scratch race to follow soon, yeah, they're going to have to investigate and sort this issue out pretty soon.
As an athlete then, though, if you're in the middle of a world championship, you've got yourself warmed up, you're ready for racing, and these go through a very fixed warm-up, they're all ready. How does it hit you now, mentally and physically?
I mean, these athletes are so experienced, and at this level, you have to be versatile enough to deal with anything that's thrown at you. So it's obviously both athletes are going through the same thing. It's not disadvantaging anybody. It's the person that's now able to prepare themselves mentally. Obviously, they're back on the rollers now, and every athlete after this match is going to be affected because their warm-ups will be thrown out a little bit. But at the end of the day, there's nothing that you can do about this. You have to accept it. You have to, recompose yourself mentally and get on with the job.
Did you notice just now that the sports presentation team they're always looking to give us a bit of entertainment? We're playing "Why Does It Always Rain on Me?"
I hadn't noticed.
Did you hear that?
That's quite clever.
Do you not know that song? No? It's a song from Britain we know about. We know that song because apparently it rains quite a lot in Britain.
I do know the song. I enjoy singing too, so I won't sing for anybody else.
So there's Christina Vogel as she just composes herself now to get ready for tonight's event. Tonight coming up, though, in terms of what we're going to see, the women's Omnium's been going on, and Annette Edmondson is again riding a fantastic race, a fantastic series of races.
Yeah, Nettie's had a brilliant campaign so far. She was part of our team's pursuit win earlier in the week, and she's had a bit of a break from the Omnium this season. She raced at only the national championships, I think, and has missed every other major competition. Bella King is our Omnium rider, and she became unwell just before coming to Paris. Unfortunately, she wasn't able to travel with the team, and Nettie stepped up with pretty much, I was going to say limited, but no Omnium preparation so far. So she's so experienced. She's obviously a world medalist and Olympic medalist at that event, and she's a competitor. So we saw her win the bunch sprint earlier in the scratch race, and then put together a pretty solid individual pursuit to be just, I think, 0.2 seconds behind Trot in the individual pursuit. So she's now leading, which is a brilliant position to be in, but it's a new format as well, so I imagine that the riders are still getting used to the new format, and yeah, anything can happen really. You have to string together a consistent performances through all 6 events to make sure that you're in the medals, and hopefully she can come away with the win.
Well, let's see what happens. Yeah, the format's very different. So traditionally in the Omnium in the Olympic Games, you finished off with a time trial at the end, and now we finish with a points race. So we're in a situation actually which can play into the hands of a rider who has a bad event, but you can't have a terrible event. You've got to be consistent all the way through. But I talked to Laura Trott actually before we came up into the commentary area just to find out how she's feeling. Now, Laura's not going to give an awful lot away right now because she had a bad scratch race earlier on in her normal situation. But she doesn't look overly concerned because she knows when it gets to the points race, you can make up 16 points.
You definitely can make up points. It's difficult. It's become a lot more defensive, the points race. I think in the World Cups this year we've seen not a lot change in the women's racing. In the men's, there's been a bit of reshuffling because they've obviously got a longer points race and more opportunities to score points. But the women's racing, it's kind of just been the position that you came into the points race has carried through. The riders that are in a strong position are very well marked, and nothing gets away. So there's an opportunity to score big points, but we don't tend to see that happen, and they'll let riders who are lower in the points get away for to take a lap because there's huge, I was going to say time gaps or point gaps now in the new Omnium structure.
So the riders just waiting to find out what the decision will be here. So it's going to be 3 to 4 minutes until we get the racing underway. So Christina Vogel is making her way back to the seats. Qianqi Xiong is also there, although her coach nearly tripped over as he went to give her the aero helmet. So they're saying 3 to 4 minutes until the racing is restarted. World champion Rebecca Wysack is with us this evening. She keeps smiling every time I say that because I don't think it's still quite hit her that she is a world champion. Do join us on Twitter if you'd like to, at @McCross and at UCI_track. Your Twitter is odd, at Kareb.
Keseb. It's an anagram of Rebecca. It's not actually a true anagram because...
Spell it out for us so everyone can tweet you.
Careceb. I should change it to something like Rebecca Wysack, but my surname's quite difficult to spell as well, so that probably wouldn't help people either.
Yeah, we've had to have lessons on the pronunciation of your surname.
I've been told.
So do join us on Twitter if you'd like to, if you want to ask Rebecca any questions while she's here with us this evening. It's a real privilege to have a world champion with us a day after she's won her title and be actually able to talk to her about, you know, how things were and what happened. Now, I think I'm right in saying, I hope I'm right in saying, is you don't actually even have a national title.
No, I don't. I only realised that yesterday when I was trying to win a world title, but the competition, the talent and the depth of talent in Australian cycling, in women's endurance riding, is so strong that it's really, really hard to win a national title. I've only been in track cycling for 3 years, so my opportunities to have won a track national championships have been limited. But yeah, it's incredible to be here, and any one of the girls in our women's team's pursuit could have lined up an individual pursuit yesterday and had a real opportunity. So I'm grateful for Gary Sutton to have given me a position, one of 2 spots, along with Amy Cure, who obviously won bronze as well yesterday. So yeah, it was a thrill for me to get onto the track and to win a world championship. So as I said, I still kind of can't believe it. You have to remind me, and yeah, it's an incredible feeling.
Everyone around here knows that you won a world title yesterday, and it is a thrill, and it will never go. You know, you can always look at that rainbow jersey and you know that you were the top rider in the world yesterday, and you can wear that whenever you ride an individual pursuit now as well.
Yeah, I had to be reminded of that in the bus on the way home. Glenn O'Shea was sitting in front of me. He's in the middle of was in the middle of his men's Omnium competition, and he reminded me that you get a kit, you get a skin suit with the world champion stripes on it, and that's pretty cool, because all of the girls that I train with will have one from the team's pursuit, and so I'll be able to wear mine too.
Yeah, and just remember, in a year's time, you know, if you retained your title, you carry on wearing it, but if you didn't, you always have your world championship bands on your sleeves, so it signifies a world champion in the individual pursuit for the rest of your career. Just remember that as well.
Yeah, track cycling has such a rich history, and I'm so new to the sport, so I probably don't appreciate its history as much as I should, and all of the main players and people who have, you know, had such an impact on the sport. So to have my name alongside the sport's greats, and to, you know, that's, as you said, something that can't be taken away from me. The Australian record was something that I've been trying to achieve for a couple of years, and has been a goal of mine, and that obviously can get beaten, but a world title, no one can take that away from you. So yeah, no. It's definitely an honour.
Absolutely. Well, sitting around us right now, there are riders who've won world titles in this commentary tribune. It's incredible. You know, we've got time now to just talk about different subjects. The Mexican waves going on around this arena. The man has arrived with a mop, which is good, so we're going to dry the track out a little bit. But you know, you look around us right now, and we're very lucky sitting here in the commentary box to bring you all the race situation. In front of us is Victoria Pendleton, a multi-world champion Olympian. Rob Hale's a world champion. Chris Boardman is to our left-hand side, an hour record holder many times, yellow jersey of the Tour de France. And behind us yesterday, when we had with us, we had Carly McCulloch. She couldn't get in to come and talk to me. Florian Rousseau, who is an amazing pursuiter in French cycling, a legend of French cycling, was trying to get the security guard to let Carly McCulloch in, and even he couldn't manage it. So there you go. So, you know, there's the sport has got legend and history and everything about it, and that's why everyone loves it, you know. We're about to get started. I think I'm right in saying that you haven't, you trained as a broadcast journalist or a journalist, and then you turn your attention to being a rider. And why did you decide to do that? Was it just that you got on a bike and loved it, or?
Well, I was a print journalist, and I always wanted to get into broadcast, but I got a cadetship at the Canberra Times newspaper in the ACT in Australia, and I kind of pursued that for a couple of years, and it wasn't exactly what I wanted out of my career. But yeah, I was a runner initially, so I was still competing as a runner before I started my journalism career. And yeah, through that I've transitioned to triathlon and now into cycling. And yeah, I'll definitely stick with this for as long as I'm possible.
Great.
As long as is possible.
Right, with us is Rebecca Wysack. We'll turn our attention to the race, and Rebecca, settle back and enjoy the racing for a moment while we focus on the action here with Christina Vogel and with Tianqi Xiong. Christina Vogel, of course, a multiple world champion, a fantastic team sprinter and sprinter. Tianqi Xiong is now going to lead off here at the front. And it is the best of three. We go through to a decider if we need to. And Tianqi Shong has to lead off. That's the rules of racing right now. She has to lead around the track unless she decides that she wants to maneuver Christina Vogel into the lead. Both of these riders choosing the disc wheels on the back and the carbon fiber bladed spokes on the front. Very high pressures in the tyres. And Vogel's one of those riders who likes to move up and down the track. Yesterday we saw her go almost vertically up the track and come to a standstill totally, bunny hopping the back wheel all over the place. She's a tremendous bike handler. As she goes down onto the Côte d'Azur now, Tianqi Shong is the emerging talent in world sprinting. There is no doubt about that. So Vogel just keeping a good eye on Tianqi Shong now at the front. Remember, the next heat will be Litley and Morton. As we see Tianqi Shong now with 1 lap to go, starts to increase the tempo down the back straight. Vogel's in the slipstream. That's ominous for the Chinese rider. Vogel now making a move on the outside. Has she got the speed to go past her? Oh, Tianqi Shong takes it on the line. 11.472. It is a photograph, but I think the Chinese rider took that one. It looked pretty close on the line, and Vogel has been doing this. She's been leaving it very, very late. Yeah, I think the Chinese rider takes it on the line. 1-0 then to Tianqi Shong. And that means Christina Vogel now has to fight her way through the next run to go 1-1 and then try and take this to a decider. So what's your thoughts on the sprint there of Christina Vogel? You're down in the track centre. You see her, you've seen her during these World Championships. Close, that one.
She is a very impressive rider. She's so strong. In Aguascalientes in Mexico last year, I think she's a phenomenal athlete to watch, and that's a very close one, so she'll have to kind of regroup now and try something different in the next round.
So what happens, we see quite often that riders will go into the track centre and they'll sit with their coaches, and the coaches have the action on iPads and everything, but quite often, don't they, from their... I think I'm right in saying around the track they have people filming them and they look on YouTube and do whatever, yeah?
Our sports scientists are up at the top of the track, and they feed the live stream directly back into the iPads that are in our pit, so the coaches can go through straight away.
Here we go, round 2, heat number 2. Ellis Litley and Stephanie Morton. Stephanie Morton of Australia will lead. Ellis Litley is the taller rider in the orange and black here. And Stephanie Morton is the Commonwealth Games champion of the sprint. She was previously a pilot on the Paralympic team. Ellis Litley there, the younger rider at the back. She's a tall, powerful rider, and we've started to see her as an emerging talent over the World Cups over the last few months. And certainly in the last round of the World Cup, she was very, very much on form. So she is a rider who likes to just wind the pace up. I expect to see her maybe leading Stephanie Morton, and Morton won't want that to happen as they go high on the track. Ellis Litley trying to use the banking to good effect. Just holding back a little bit so she can dive at Stephanie Morton. Morton starting to lead. 1 lap to go as they go underneath that camera and they hit the 200 meters to go line. So Morton now starts to accelerate into turn 3 on the track. Ellis Litley working hard round the outside. And who's going to get it? Litley looks like she takes it on the line. 63.4 kilometers an hour. That was a pretty impressive sprint by the young Dutch rider, who to me looks very, very relaxed right now in terms of this racing. She looks like she has everything pretty much under her control. Rebecca, Stephanie Morton, you know her well, don't you?
Yeah, we're rooming together this championships, which is it's a bit unique because we're usually, you'd room with someone from the women's endurance squad and the sprinters would room together, but we've got odd numbers, 3 sprinters here and 5 endurance riders. So Steph and I were lucky to room together, so that's been a lot of fun, and I've had all of my racings finished now, so I had to start at the room last night when she was preparing for her racing today, and yeah, it's an incredible achievement for her to get this far in the competition into the semi-finals.
Was she nervous this morning?
She was pretty relaxed. I think, you know, it's been a long wait for her as well to get to the competition. We got here just over a week ahead of the World Championship, so we had a lot of time on the track and to prepare and to freshen up, and sometimes, yeah, you can go a little bit crazy. It's quite cold. We've come from Australian summer, so come straight to winter, and there was some sleet out this morning as well, and so you don't really want to get outdoors, so we're probably spending a little bit too much time in our hotel room. But yeah, she's, as you said, she's got a lot of experience in the sport as a para-tandem pilot, and now she's, yeah, carving a name for herself as a sprinter in her own right.
Here we are with the start list of the next event on the track. This is a women's scratch race, so a straight race for the final. The winner of this, the first rider across the line, will be the world champion. So a big group of riders now taken to the start. 40 laps of the track, 10 kilometers of racing, and we've got some very, very talented bike riders in here indeed. I'm just going to ask you a quick couple of questions, Rebecca, before the race gets underway, because people are tweeting us. So the Wombat, do you think they might be Australian? Will Beck look for the team pursuit spot for Rio, or will you look at alternatives on the road, like the road race or the individual time trial?
That's an ongoing, I guess, challenge and question for me. I love the track. I spend 6 months of the year on the track, and that's definitely where my focus is. So I'll put everything into this. I mean, the people who watch the team's pursuit know now I've got a big challenge ahead of me to try and get into the score, but anything can happen, and I have to just be ready if and when an opportunity comes. So definitely staying on the track.
You're definitely staying on the track. I first noticed you on the track in the World Cup. I think it was Guadalajara, and you won the individual pursuit World Cup medal there. And before that, I didn't know who you were. So I noticed you that day when I was commentating and thought you were very, very strong in terms of individual pursuit. And then you wore the World Cup jersey in the Women's World Cup as well. So you're a versatile rider.
I love the road as well. It's really, really tough for me. There's a lot of races I'd like to do that I'm not able to because they clash with the track commitments. So I love the time trial. I won the prologue at the tour of the Gracierolova tour last year in Czech Republic, and but obviously the prologues and time trials are my speciality. So yeah, it's really hard. I love doing them both, but you definitely have to make a decision at the end of the day, and yeah, track is where my heart lies at the time being. Okay,
well, we're here now with the lineup here as we run through the riders who will be riding the 40 laps, 10 kilometers on the track. I'm going to ask Rebecca to keep with us for a while and just maybe talk through the initial stages of this race, and then she can sit back and enjoy the action, because in here we've got Amy Cure, who's Team Pursuit world champion now, a world champion in the points race last year for Australia. But this field, I've gone through and looked at it, and I think it's one of the most stunning fields in a women's scratch race we have had for many, many years. In fact, we have got Kelly Drutz, a world champion previously, Katarzyna Pawlowska, twice a world champion, Yumari Gonzalez, there's Amy Cure, twice a world champion, and Pascal Juland, also a previous world champion for France. I mean, it's incredible. And then you add in the mix all the riders who ride on the road, who have got world titles on the track as well, and this is sparkling.
Definitely, and some women here who are also in the Omnium, middle of an Omnium competition, who have elected to race the scratch race as well. So yeah, there's going to be definitely some tired legs here, some women who have backed up from the team's pursuit, from the individual pursuit, who are in the middle of an Omnium competition. So
some pedals being sorted out here for one of the riders, and that is the Russian rider who's on the start line, who's just getting everything organised. You don't want that. Evgenia Romanoita, who just gets her pedal tightened up. There's Pascal Juland of France. She is a previous world champion, 27 years of age, and a world champion in the scratch race in 2010, as she, of course, has got the weight of a nation on her shoulders right now. So it's quite a short race, really. 40 laps sounds like a lot, but it's only 10 kilometres. And the scratch race, first rider across the line. Big peloton of riders here, isn't it?
It's a huge field. I think we probably saw half the numbers of this in the points race earlier in the week. So yeah, this is a very large field for a women's world championships, and yeah, it's great to see that it's going to be a very close, hopefully tightly contested event.
So let's run through some of the riders so we know who's in the field. 40 laps to go. If you take a lap, you're just 1 lap ahead. There's no extra points, there's no nothing. It just means everyone else has to catch you again and take a lap back. Otherwise, you're the winner overall. Kelly Drutz from Belgium, the champion last year, so she's a defending champion, also a bronze medalist in this race previously in 2012. Katarzyna Pawlowska in the red and white of Poland, who is such a talented bike rider, a teammate of Lizzie Armistead on the road, the World Cup winner of last season from the Boels Dolmans team. Also in the field, one rider who might be a favourite in here. She doesn't get marked out of it. I'm just checking that she's definitely taken the start, and she has. In the orange is Kirsten Wild, who rides for Liv Planter on the road, and of course is a 4 times winner of the Tour of Qatar. There she is, right on cue. Thanks to our cameras for picking her out, and she is there. She chose not to ride the Tour of Qatar so she could ride the World Championships. That's a big call for her.
It's a really hard decision, as we've spoken already, that, you know, that the road versus track, and there are some events that she probably could have won that event, or possibly could have won, given that her experience and her results at the race previously. So they're tough decisions to make, but yeah, hopefully if it comes down to a sprint, I think I'd have my money on her, but there'll be some women who'll be trying to get away to make sure that it doesn't come down to a bunch sprint.
So some of these riders, of course, will be riding in the Omnium competition later on, and we will see that next round of that coming up later with, I think, riding in it includes Kirsten Wild and other riders. So, again, we've got sore legs potentially in this field, but riders who obviously feel they've got the stamina and want to go for this gold medal. Beautiful camera shot as the riders go underneath. 35 laps of racing remaining. The rider on the front now is from Finland, and that is Sara Ferrara. I think I'm right in saying Sara used to ride for Mexico.
Yeah, I'm told she did, so yeah, it's interesting change of allegiance there.
It is, isn't it? Some riders can do that. They might have a dual passport, or they might move to the country with a partner and decide that they want to get nationality. On the front then right now is Amy Cure of Australia as she leads and just swings up the track. A bit cagey in here now, isn't it? 34 laps remaining. Tactically, you just have to be the first rider across the line. It's like a big road race into a condensed period of time, isn't it?
It's hard, you know, it's very strung out, and you don't want to be left at the back if a potential move gets off the front. So, you know, you need to try and conserve as much energy as possible for that final sprint. And as you said, also because we're in the middle of an Omnium competition, but, you know, everybody out there wants to win. That's why you line up. So, yeah, it's going to be a very interesting race.
On the front then for Ireland, another rider riding the Omnium as we see the first attack of the night, and that is a rider from Spain who goes clear. This is Sheila Gutierrez. Has decided that she's had enough of sitting in the peloton and very quickly has taken a few seconds. In fact, she's taken the length of a straight. She has fired off the front with a tremendous attack there. The big question now is anyone going to react? Because if she takes a lap quickly, which she looks like, you know, she's half a lap up, and we look at this and we say, yeah, she's attacked and she's gone away, but this is not easy to do.
She's flying, and it was very slow reaction there from the bunch. So there was a lot of hesitation, lots of girls looking at each other because they think, well, it's not up to me to chase it down. But then at the end, you know, everyone's stuck there, and she's definitely, you know, the straights are quite short, and you can see that she can already see the tail of the field there.
Well, I was told yesterday that the bends are 14 metres longer than they are normally on most other tracks. Sheila Gutierrez is getting pretty close here to taking a lap on the field. Here she goes as she can see them just in front. Oh, a big crash. Only one rider coming down, though, which was pretty incredible. The Canadian rider hitting the deck there. And we'll see if she gets up. Alison Beveridge just sliding off. There's a little bit of pressure in that field right now, and Alison Beveridge looking to see if she can get back on. She's going to change both wheels by the looks of things. Sheila Gutierrez is the rider who is still off the front, but she is not managing to close the gap on the rest of the field right now. Starting to struggle a bit because the tempo has gone up at the front. Rebecca, just remind me, how many laps have you got until you can get back in? You've got to get in pretty quickly, haven't you?
I think you only have 5 laps, and it looks like she's down to her final 2, but
yep.
she's her holder's here and ready to swing her back into the main field. She's probably going to take the most of this and use her entire 5 laps, so she probably could have got back in. She's ready on her bike to go, but she'll make the most of this break and get back in, try and compose herself, because that was, you know, a pretty nasty fall. So yeah, it's always difficult to come back from that position.
Alison Beveridge then is the rider from Canada, team pursuit, a silver medalist in Cali, a bronze medalist in the team pursuit here, who now rejoins the field. And Sheila Gutierrez of Spain is being reeled in by the tempo at the front of the peloton. Kirsten Wild of the Netherlands in the orange, being tracked there by the Cuban rider Yamari Gonzalez, twice a world champion. She's looking to try and take this one again and get a hat-trick of victory. She's also got 2 silver medals in this event as well, as the rider from Hong Kong, China, now goes off the front. This is Chan Yu Yang, who just gets a little bit of a advantage as the riders close in. They're not prepared to let anyone go now. 22 laps remain, and the tempo calms down a little bit, and everyone is safely back in the peloton. Amy Kuhl, what was her thoughts on tonight's race? Did she give you any indication as to how she was feeling?
I didn't actually have a chance to chat to Amy. She was very disappointed to miss out on a ride in the points race and the opportunity to defend her World Championships from last year. It was unfortunately in the middle of the team's pursuit, so this is another opportunity for Amy today to chase some more rainbows, and it's great to see an Australian out there in the field.
20 laps now remain. Caroline Ryan of Ireland on the front of the race. Caroline Ryan is a rider who has won a bronze medal in the World Championships before. She's an attacking rider. Generally, when she goes off the front, she does it towards the end of the race, and either Caroline holds on or just holds on to get a medal. She will not wait for a bunch sprint here with 19 laps remaining, and Ryan now on the front of the race, looking to just track things on a little bit. The tempo is not fast at all, and that's when it gets a little bit dangerous in here.
Yeah, I don't really enjoy watching the bunch races. I don't like being in them myself too much either. It's especially when it bunches up and there's a lot of nervous women. Everyone out there wants to win the championships, and you kind of get a little bit desperate at times. So forcing your way into holes and openings that just aren't there. So yeah, it's always a nervous time now watching, especially there's women riding down on the duck boards at the bottom of the track. So that's how slow the pace is now. It's come right off.
Yep, it's very, very steady in here. These riders all know there's a World Championship on the line. There's been one big attack from Sheila Gutierrez. We've been joined tonight by Rebecca Wysack, the world champion of the individual pursuit. Lovely to have her here to get her thoughts on yesterday's race and tonight's racing as well. Amy Kuhl at the front of the race. Don't forget you can join us at Ant McCrossan at UCI_track if you would like to give us your thoughts on the racing, your predictions, your questions or anything else. As Kirsten Wild now goes on the attack at the front. Well, she doesn't really attack, she just rides off the front, and immediately right on cue Caroline Ryan decides she's had enough, and with 16 laps remaining she tries to stretch things out a little bit.
Brilliant riding from Kirsten Wild there. She, you know, she wanted to increase the pace. You don't want to make it really easy for everybody to sit in, and you want it in a scratch race, kind of hurt everyone's legs so they take the sting out of it in the sprint, and she was able to respond there. Caroline Ryan came around it, and she was in a perfect position to jump straight on her wheel, and as you can see, there's been a split in the field now. So
yeah, she was almost just enticing everyone to lift the pace a little bit. Caroline Ryan at the front for Ireland. Kimberly Geist up there as well for the United States of America. Bronze medalist in the points race this week already. So she is the rider who surprised a little bit with that bronze medal, but she's firmly set on trying to win a gold medal in Rio. Kirsten Wild then on the front. Behind her, Caroline Ryan. Near the front in the black is Rushley Buchanan from New Zealand, a New Zealand road race and criterium champion, bronze medalist in the team pursuit previously. She's near the front. She looks like she's in a perfect position. Pascal Juland of France is waiting to try and bring the French fans to their feet. She must be sitting here right now and watching everyone and thinking, when do I make my move? Because she's bound to try something. 12 laps remain then as the rider from Hong Kong, China goes to the front again. Chan Yu Yang stretches things out a little bit, and Pawlowska in second wheel waiting to pounce. Beveridge also near the front and looking good after recovering from her crash.
Yeah, we're seeing now the New Zealand rider off the front, so it's an opportunity now. It's getting close, so you can probably stay away if you try to late attack now. So, yeah, it's been closely marked by Katarzyna by the looks of it.
Well, I'm going to let you enjoy the run into the finish, Rebecca. Here we go. Rushley Buchanan then, the New Zealander, as she goes on the attack. Pawlowska is trying to get across. Twice world champion in the red and white. Rides for Bowles Dolmans, a teammate of Lizzie Armistead, the UCI World Cup winner of 2014. And Rushley Buchanan's looking very, very good. These New Zealanders, the Southern Hemisphere nations, are flying right now. And on the front of the peloton, there's no reaction. You don't want to let these two go, because this gold medal is going to disappear. Rushley Buchanan now with 8 laps to go as she goes past. In fact, 7 laps of racing remaining. Looks around, and this is a very dangerous duo. The Czech Republic rider now trying to go across. And the rider from the Czech Republic is desperately trying to get there. This is Machakova, Jamila Machakova, the world champion of the points race in 2013. And right now, these medals are disappearing, but Pascal Juland now decides to hit the front. A former world champion. She's trying to get a reaction from Kirsten Wild. 5 laps of racing remaining as Machakova goes across to the leaders. Juland's been absorbed by the peloton. She managed to get everyone going a little bit. Now on attack, and it comes from Eleanor Barker from Great Britain, who's been riding really strongly in that team pursuit team. She's been the strongest rider in the squad as Eleanor Barker now jumps across to the leaders. The question is, will she go straight past? And indeed, she looks like she's decided that's what she's going to go. And Barker now goes to the front of the race and attacks hard with 3 laps of racing remaining. She has the pursuit speed to go. The reaction comes from Amy Cure of Australia. Amy Cure trying to close up on Eleanor Barker. Behind her is Kirsten Wild. Kirsten Wild is the fastest sprinter in this race. There is no doubt about that. She has won so many stages of the Tour of Qatar. Eleanor Barker trying to lead it out. Kirsten Wild is there. Pascal Juland goes up the outside. 2 laps of racing to go. Kirsten Wild on the front. Amy Cure waiting to pounce on the wheel. Coming up on the outside is Kelly Drutz. 1 lap of racing to go now. The crowd absolutely on their feet as Amy Cure now tries to go through. Pascal Juland is going to challenge on the outside. A big crash. Few riders going down. Kirsten Wild is still on the front. She's absolutely smashing it. Amy Cure trying to challenge. Is it going to be? Kirsten Wild is the world champion. So the gamble paid off. She takes the world title. What a stunning race that was. An absolutely thrilling finish. A couple of riders hit the deck on the run-in, but Kirsten Wild is the world champion. That was a superb finish. She gambled. She said that she was going to make sure that she didn't ride the Tour of Qatar and that she would try and win a world title this evening, and she's done it. She's brought home the gold medal for the Netherlands. Kirsten Wild is the world champion. In second place is Amy Cure of Australia. Pascal Juland of France in third place. One rider, unfortunately, still lying down after that crash. It was a pretty big crash that left one rider lying. But Kirsten Wild, Amy Cure was right on the hip of her. Pascal Juland was trying to go through. She was holding on and holding on. Kirsten Wild has got so much power. Amy Cure desperately trying to get in contact. Juland just got a little bit boxed on the running. How did she hold that up and still get a medal? That was incredible as they went for the finish line. What a fantastic finish to the scratch race. The world champion is Kirsten Wild, and the big gamble of not racing the Tour of Qatar has paid off. She finally gets the rainbow band she's been looking for. So, what's your summary of that race then, Rebecca?
What an exciting finish. I mean, Kirsten Wild rode a brilliant race. She definitely kept things under control, was always up the front when she needed to be, stayed out of trouble. We saw a couple of crashes there, so she rode perfect position, and said she's, you know, one of the best road sprinters in the world, and she's got a great track pedigree as well, so brilliant decision for her. She's got her World Championships now, and unfortunately there's been a fall in the sprint finish on the final lap, and there's a rider still down, so hopefully that she's okay.
Well, as usual here in the velodrome, the doctors are always immediately there with a rider. It's quite a long way to slide down this track, and particularly when you're at the speeds of 60k an hour, as you're flat out trying to go for the finish. It's a pretty hefty fall, but the doctors are with the rider who's fallen. Kirsten Wild, in the meantime, is absolutely ecstatic with that victory. She got that right. Amy Cure of Australia in second place, takes another medal for Australia, takes a silver medal. And Pascal Juland of France was the rider who took the bronze medal on the run-in to the finish line there. The rest of the place is Alison Beveridge of Canada, Salazar of Mexico, Pavlendova of Slovakia in sixth place. Here's the rundown on the screen. Kirsten Wild is the world champion. Amy Cure in second place. Pascal Juland will take the bronze medal. Alison Beveridge, Lisbeth Salazar, Pavlendova of Slovakia in sixth. Annalisa Kuchinota also in there. There's the rundown of the top 16 riders. And we'll just have a quick look at the rest of the riders there. And I think it was Sheila Gutierrez who's the rider who unfortunately crashed on the run-in, the rider who animated the race very early on. But she's now being looked after. In fact, I think it's the Cuban rider who hit the deck, actually. It was Dimari Gonzalez. Always precautionary. They'll put her in a brace, and they'll put her on the stretcher, and they'll take her and they'll look after her. But right now she's not on oxygen or anything like that. So they just do this because we always look at this and think it's not a dangerous sport, but it is.
It's a very dangerous sport. Obviously, when you know your head's involved and you're hitting the track, as you said, at speed. Yeah, it can be a very dangerous sport, and every precaution has to be taken now to make sure that the rider's okay. We'll probably have a little bit of a break in the program again because we're having some track repairs where that heavy fall took place and two riders came down. So got the ladder out and some track inspections happening. So
it's constant delays this evening, but some thrilling racing in between. You've raced against Kirsten Wild, I think, in Chongming maybe, or somewhere like that. I'm trying to remember. But she's a really powerful bike rider, isn't she? She's
a phenomenal rider, very, very strong, a brilliant sprinter, as you saw in there, a great tactician, reads the races very well. She obviously has the strength that she probably could have, you know, monstered around everybody in the final few laps, but she took the lead and made sure that she was in the right position and made everybody come past her, and you definitely don't want to be starting your sprint behind Kirsten Wild.
Absolutely not. Well, alongside us this evening in these initial races, Rebecca Wysack, who is the world champion of the individual pursuit, giving us her insights to the racing as we get ready for the next race, which is the women's sprint. If it's okay with you, we'll keep you here for this race, and then we'll take a couple of final questions, and then we'll let you go and enjoy the rest of the night. So Christina Vogel and Tianqi Xiong are on the track now, and they will make their way up onto the start line. So in terms of your season, before we get started on this sprint, you've finished your track season, I guess. What happens now?
I have no idea. I have to sit down with Gary Sutton and work out what's next. You know, I've just kind of stuck in this Australian team by the skin of my teeth, and it's yeah, definitely something I want to continue with, but that's in Gary Sutton's hands, and hopefully I'll continue on the track, but have a little bit of a break now, and yeah, the rest of the year's up in the air. So it's exciting times ahead, but yeah, still very much unknown.
Tianqi Xiong then on the track in the red. She's the leader of this with Christina Vogel. Christina Vogel has got to go equal on terms here. Otherwise, Vogel, as defending champion, will be out of the race for the gold medal. So it's pressure time for the German rider. And if anyone can take pressure, it's Christina Vogel. She normally is a rider who in the middle of the track is animated, she chats, she has a good time. Now she's got her race face on, and when you see Christina like that, she's like tunnel vision. She doesn't really see anything else as she makes her way around the track. Was that a good summary of Christina Vogel?
Definitely. Annette Emerson been filming some behind-the-scenes videos this week, and Christina Vogel's actually on the rollers before the World Championship, super relaxed, roaring, which I found quite funny. So, yeah, that's her personality.
So here we go then. So we're having a little look here at Christina Vogel, and Vogel now starting to lead out. She has to win this one. And Tianqi Xiong is right on the wheel. She's going high. Vogel on the blue line, kicks the back wheel a little bit, trying to entice Tianqi Xiong to go with her. And she has got so much speed round the outside. Christina Vogel fighting hard. Has Tianqi Xiong got enough? Hitting the finish line. Oh, that was very, very close. Remember, Tianqi Xiong won heat number 1. Vogel has to win this one. It's a photograph again. Here we go. And who got it? On the finish line, Vogel going to throw her bike at the line, and she takes it. Christina Vogel makes it 1-1, so it will go through to a decider. Well, that was a fantastic race. Christina Vogel wins run number 2. So it goes 1-1 as we get ready to bring Alice Litley and Stephanie Morton up onto the track. Just being told that the judges are looking at the camera on the run into the finish line between Kirsten Wild and Pascal Julan. We saw that on the run-in, so if anything happens, we'll let you know, but I can imagine that because they both got medals, maybe something won't happen. Alice Litley then and Stephanie Morton up on the track for this semi-final. It is right now Litley leading 1-0. Stephanie Morton is now got to bring this one to 1-1 and take it through to a decider. So I guess, Rebecca, Stephanie right now, a little bit of pressure on her.
Yeah, definitely. You know, you don't want to be in this position 1 down, but yeah, she's going to throw everything that she can in this ride, and I have my fingers crossed for her.
You sit back and enjoy it. So fingers crossed for Stephanie Morton then. So there's still a discussion going on with the judges about the infringements on the run-in to the finish line in the scratch race, and I think we might see some changes happening in the overall result. And there are boos in the crowd because the announcement is being made now about the women's scratch race, and the result has been changed, and that is that Kirsten Wild will be the winner, Amy Cure of Australia will be second, and Alison Beveridge of Canada will now be the bronze medalist because Pascal Juland has been relegated for an infringement on the run-in. In the meantime, let's keep our attention here on Stephanie Morton. So the result changes in the women's scratch race. As we look here at Stephanie Morton and Ellis Litley. Morton has to win this one. She goes round the top. Ellis Litley does this a lot. She'll hold her high and she'll come back at her. She's so powerful, and Ellis Litley goes through to the final of the women's sprint, and she made it look relatively simple. She is so powerful, and she belies the effort that she's putting in. I've seen her do this on a couple of occasions. She is one of those riders, Chris Hoy-esque, who's able to hold off their rider despite them going round the top and round the outside. So Stephanie Morton will now go through to race for the bronze medal. Ellis Litley goes through to race for the gold. Any thoughts on that sprint there, Rebecca?
Yeah, it's always tough when you're going around a rider. I've never done a sprints competition before, but, you know, having to ride just a little bit further around the track, yeah, it's a difficult position to be in, and she would have sat down with her coach, Gary West, between the rounds and tried to work out a new plan, but now it's kind of totally regroup. It's a new rider, you know, another opportunity. Obviously disappointment for her not to be going for gold, but it was brilliant for her to make the semi. She had a sensational ride in qualifying, and definitely learning her craft as a sprinter now.
Ellis Litley, then confirmation on the screen, is the winner 2-0 in the competition as she just warms down. Well, Pascal Juland is bitterly disappointed now in the centre of the track. She is a former world champion, and this is why she has been relegated. So let's take a look at the pictures. Kirsten Wild and Pascal Juland is there and working hard. This is the run-in, and she moved across. Well, I didn't see much infringement there, but Kirsten Wild on the front. Amy Cure working hard. Juland there, yep, there we go. She dives right on the inside of the track. She took the rider from Slovakia completely out of the race. Juland then tries to go up the inside of Kirsten Wild and almost crashed herself, and that is why she has now been relegated, and the Canadian rider Alison Beveridge is the rider who is the bronze medalist. So
she threw everything at that race. I mean, yeah, she's, as you said, there's a lot of desperation in the finish there, and it does get a little bit messy, and brilliant ride from Alison Beveridge. She had a fall earlier in the race to get back up and to get on the podium now as a bronze medalist.
There's confirmed result. Kirsten Wild wins. Amy Cure in second. Alison Beveridge in third place. There's the top 8 riders in the women's scratch race. So things change. And here's the moment she was told that she had lost the medal.
It's really tough, as you can see. You know, it's a hard sport as it is to be told the news, and trying to have composure and hold it together. It's such a public arena, and you can see it, you know, cameras recording every move.
So here we are then. We're going to hear from the winner of the women's scratch race. A little bit of a change. Here she is, the world champion, Kirsten Wild.
Congratulations, Kirsten. Gefeliciteerd, as we say in Dutch. We saw you very, very happy with your family, with your close people. How do you feel?
Yeah, I am very happy, and it's nice that my family was here and I can celebrate with them.
We know you for your results in road, especially. This is for your first title in track. That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm very happy. I never had such a title, also not on the road. So yeah, it's amazing.
And we saw a race very difficult. The finish was quite wild, with a lot of contacts between the riders.
I didn't realize that. Yeah, until 10 laps to go, the race was easy, but the last 10 laps was a hard race.
And you give the first medal to the Netherlands.
Yeah, it's true, but not the last, I guess.
You think so?
I think Elis and Jeffrey have a big chance.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Kirsten Wild then making her way to the podium for the presentation. That was a rough and tumble sprint into the finish. Amy Cure throwing her bike at the line there. And there's the moment of celebration. Kirsten Wild is the world champion. All the planning, the preparation, the training, and the sacrifice was worth it. She normally starts her season in Qatar. This time she decided to come to Paris and try and take rainbow bands home, and she's done that. So we're getting ready now for the ceremony of the women's scratch race. So Rebecca, last night you were sitting here. What does it feel?
I wasn't quite sitting there because I was rushed and you don't have very much time to turn around between your event to the podium presentation to make sure everything's in place. And it is an incredible feeling as you do walk up onto the podium. So yeah, I know what she's going through now. It's pretty cool.
Well, here we are then, the presentation of the women's scratch race here in Saint-Quentin-en-Yvelines in Paris. So there we are, the top three, and a reminder though that Alison Beveridge crashed, of course, in the race and fought her way back, and now she's going to stand on the podium as the bronze medalist. What a recovery. Canada have had a great championship. Alison Beveridge is the bronze medalist in the women's scratch race. Unfortunately, some of the crowd are going to give her not the greatest reception, and the rest are very appreciative of her. It's not her fault that the French rider was disqualified from the race. Amy Cure, the silver medalist. There she is. She gets presented with another medal. She's going to need another suitcase to go home with after this round of racing.
World Championships Women's Scratch Race gold medalist, winner of the UCI World Champions jersey, representing.
And Kirsten Wild now. The moment will now hit her. She is the world champion. Daniel Monjas, the speaker of the Tour de France for 41 years, announces her onto the podium as the world champion, and she'll pull on now the rainbow bands. Well, Kirsten Wild is a rider that we see racing on the road all the time during the season, but now she gets a thoroughly deserved win. She was a bronze medalist in this event in 2011, and she's presented with the gold medal. Alison Beveridge then on the third step. Amy Cure takes the silver medal and presented with the flowers. And now we wait for the national anthem of the Netherlands.
L'hymne national des Pays-Bas.
please. Kirsten Wield, the world champion, flanked by Amy Cure and Alison Beveridge. So they'll make their way down to get their photographs, and we'll turn our attention to the women's sprint in a moment. So, Rebecca, thank you very much for taking your time to join us here. I know the day after a world title, you've probably been very, very busy yesterday, but what does it mean to you as an athlete to take rainbow bands home to Australia?
It's an unbelievable feeling, and yeah, something that you dream of, really, and to actually have achieved that goal now is, yeah, a very, very special moment, and yeah, absolutely something that you'll never forget. I'm really looking forward to going home to Canberra to see friends and my boyfriend and share the moment with them, and hopefully get a chance to go home to Geelong to see my parents and family as well.
Great stuff. Well, thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure welcoming Rebecca Wysack, world champion, to commentate with us this evening. Your first time doing this, and it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Anthony. Thank you so much for having me. It's been my pleasure.
So our sprinters are back and focused and getting ready for the next round. Let's just remind ourselves then that the first of the heats is Christina Vogel against Tianqi Chong, and they are 1 each. It's game time for Christina Vogel. She now needs to win this to look at defending her title. Tianqi Chong makes her way onto the track. Ellis Litley is already through for the Netherlands.
Introducing the riders for race 3. The winner of the first race, representing China, Tianqi Chong. Winner of race 2, the defending champion, representing Germany, Christina Vogel.
Les deux concurrentes donc pour une manche décisive. Ça tombe en demi-finale. Évidemment, elles s'affrontent pour la finale, première et deuxième place.
So Christina Vogel then getting herself set for this sprint. One all. Tianqi Chong of China in the red and yellow. Christina Vogel, multiple world champion. So it'll be interesting to see what Christina Vogel decides to do here. She got the tactics right last time. You never really see... Oops. That was a little bit cagey. Qian Qishong looking one way. Vogel went on the inside, decided to sneak through, and then it almost went a little bit wrong. Qian Qishong didn't see what was going on as they start to accelerate a little bit now. And Vogel is going high on the track. Now she's going to dig in. She does not want Qian Qishong to go around the top. Christina Vogel holding her all the way around that banking. Qian Qishong trying to get some line, but she can't dive on the inside. Vogel holds her off again. Look at the power of Christina Vogel. What a sprint. She rode that one absolutely perfectly. That shows just how much she wanted it. Christina Vogel, 2-1. What a stunning sprint. She held Qian Qishong off 2 bankings that time. That is very, very impressive. Very, very impressive indeed from Qian Qishong. Let's take another look at this. So she led off, she dived inside then. And then Vogel held her off on 2 bankings and then took the victory. Confirmation then, 2-1 to Christina Vogel. So here we are with the standings now of the men's Omnium that we're turning our attention to. And it has been a great round of racing so far. 5 events have been covered. And you're just looking on the screen at the overall standings. Now, let's just explain to you what happens here, because previously the Omnium finished with a flying lap time trial, an individual time trial, but now it finishes with a points race. So basically what we're going to see is the riders have got their accumulated points. And then every point they take in the points race adds to that accumulation of points. So there is a great possibility of the race changing quite significantly by the end. That means that, as normal in a points race, you have 5 points if you win a sprint, 3 points for second, 2 points for third, 1 point for fourth. And the points get accumulated. The rider, if you take a lap, gets 20 points. So that means right now, if you are lying 20 points behind the leader and you take a lap, you're back equal on points with them. So there's a great chance for things to shuffle around all the time during this points race. So we'll keep you updated on it, and we'll try and explain exactly what is going on as this race continues. So in terms of the point standings right now, this is how things look. Fernando Gaviria, the rider from Colombia, has 170 points. He is the leader of the points race overall. Just 6 points behind him is Elia Viviani, who's the rider there in the blue, a Team Sky professional riding for Italy. 6 points is all that separates him from Gaviria. In third place, Glenn O'Shea, who is another 6 points behind. So there's all sorts of riders got chances of winning here. Jasper de Bust of Belgium, 140 points to the 170 of Gaviria. So really, the top three could shuffle around all over the place. We know Gaviria is a very, very good sprinter. This year he's been on form. He won 2 stages in the Tour of San Luis, beating Mark Cavendish. So he certainly has the power to be able to bring this race home. ...160 laps of the track. So the gun goes off to get the race started. There will be intermediate sprints throughout the race. 40 kilometers of racing in total. So the leader is the rider from Colombia, Fernando Gaviria. He is in a white kit. He has luminous yellow shoes if you're trying to pick him out. In second place, Elia Viviani in the Azzurra Blu of Italy, the Team Sky rider. And Thomas Bouda of France is also riding well, but Glenn O'Shea now has moved into the third place. Jasper de Bust of Belgium in fourth, and Thomas Bouda of France in fifth place. Viktor Manakov of Russia in sixth place overall. So those are the standings as we wait for the first sprint of the night. The rider from Hong Kong, China, has gone off the front here. This is Chung Wing Lung, who has got a little bit of an advantage on the rest of the field. They're in the red. And the rider from Hong Kong, China, a little bit of an advantage with 156 laps to go. Gaviria then has 6 points advantage on Viviani. Glenn O'Shea with 158 points. Remember, if you take a lap, it's another 20 points added to your total, which would mean that the likes of Jasper de Bust could bring themselves up to a medal position very, very quickly if they took 20 points. And Jasper de Bust is a rider who's won the Ghent 6 Day, which is all track-based, and they have races like this all the time, and Madison races. So you're always trying to take a lap. On the field. 152 laps to go, for the first sprint is coming up. And the rider from Hong Kong, China, Chung Wing Lung, has still got that slight advantage. Gaviria will ride relatively conservatively. He'll keep an eye on Elia Viviani, he'll keep an eye on Glenn O'Shea. And moving up on the outside is the rider from New Zealand, Aaron Gate, who's a former world champion. He won this event in 2013, and I know there are many New Zealand fans who like to watch this racing. It is Chung Wing Lung who takes the first points. Behind him is Aaron Gate, who takes second place. Jasper de Bust takes 2 points, which will move him closer to 96 points, to move him closer to the lead with 142 points. And Thomas Bouda of France now in fifth place, still with 139, moving a little bit closer than previously. So you get the idea then, hopefully. Keep up with me on Twitter at @McCrossan, @UCI_cycling. 148 laps of racing remaining. There's the Omnium standings. So all down to the points race. Gaviria of Colombia, 170 points. Elia Viviani with 164. Glenn O'Shea with the third place position for Australia. Glenn O'Shea, world champion in 2012, a bronze medalist also in 2013. Can he bring another medal home for Australia tonight? So this is the first time in a World Championship we've seen the Omnium finish with a points race, but the World Cups have been in this format for a little while, as we see an attack now, and the attack is coming from the Spanish rider to try and go across to the rider from Hong Kong, China. So in the red and yellow there at the front of the race is the Spanish rider, Unai Elorriaga, who was third on a stage of the Tour of Rioja in Spain, a good track rider, and combining at the front now as these riders go clear. 144 laps to go. Things are back together a little bit. And a rider hits the deck, and in fact it's the Colombian rider. The leader has hit the deck here, Fernando Gaviria, and he's going to hurt there in that fall. So this is the moment for a rider to get back in terms now. Elia Viviani, look at that, he touched wheels. Oh, he almost took the Dutch rider out as well, Tim Velt. He had his foot out of the pedals. So the sprint lap, Elia Viviani takes the sprint. That's an important moment for him, because that means that Elia Viviani is going to edge a little bit closer now to the leaders. Johnny Dibben of Great Britain goes clear and attacks. So that was an interesting sprint there for Viviani. Gaviria is still off the track. So Viviani takes 5 points. Martin Irvine takes 3. Glenn O'Shea takes 2. And Rodriguez takes 1, which means Viviani is only 1 point now behind the lead. So this race now is looking interesting. Gaviria is back on the track. He's now 1 point ahead of Elia Viviani, but he goes clear with 136 laps to go. He tucks into the wheel with the rest of the riders. 135 laps to go. And these 4 riders are still clear of the pack. Johnny Dibben is going through to the front. Aaron Gate is with him, the Brazilian rider also there. And behind them is going to be an interesting race. So Gaviria right now has only got this slender 1 point advantage, but right now he could be rectifying that. Elia Viviani managed to get himself into a situation where he was in touching distance of winning, and Gaviria now is about to take a lap on the rest of the field. So they're heading up now. Johnny Dibben takes 5 points, Aaron Gate takes the next points behind that, and they also take 20 points for taking a lap as well. So this race is completely transformed. Dibben takes 5, Aaron Gate takes 3, Gaviria takes 2, Rodriguez takes 1 point, which means Gaviria is now, with the 2 points he's taken and a further 20 points, he is now firmly at the top of the leaderboard with 192 points.
169 points, Rocher 3e, 160 points, Lopez 4e, 142, et 5e, Topapuna, 100.
So the pace has gone out of the race. .120 laps to go. There's the standings. .126 laps to go. So Johnny Dibben took those last points. Aaron Gate took the 3, Gaviria took 2. 125 laps to go. Off the front slightly is Martin Irvine of Ireland. He's a bit further on down the standings. But right now, Glenn O'Shea still sitting in 3rd place, the Australian rider with 160. 123 laps remain. Aaron Gate on the front, in on the wheel as the 2nd place rider as they swing up the track yet again. Well, that little group of Gaviria, Dibben, Gate and Rodriguez taking the lap before anyone really realised. They did it very, very fast. So on the front of the race now is the Danish rider. The sprint lap is on then, and the Danish rider there took some points. That's Kasper Pedersen, who's actually been 2nd in the junior Paris-Roubaix. He takes 5, Jasper de Bus takes 3, Glenn O'Shea scores some points to move on to 162, consolidating his position in 3rd place overall. There's the result of sprint number 4 of 16. Kasper Pedersen with 5 points, Jasper de Bus with 3, Glenn O'Shea with 2, Tim Veld with 1, leaving the standings as Gaviria leading with 192, Elliot Viviani with 169, Glenn O'Shea with 162, Jasper de Bus with 145. So still, I would say, the bronze medal is to be decided, and so is the silver, but right now Gaviria is in a fantastic position, and after a crash, it's pretty incredible that he's now already got a lap, and he is right firmly up there at the top of the standings. Aaron Gate trying to go again, the former world champion. And the rider from the United States of America making a little bit of a move. That's Jacob During, sitting on the back of the group. Unai Elorriaga from Spain in the red and yellow swings up the track. Kasper Pedersen going across. 116 laps to go. Riding in here for Switzerland, Gail Suter, who works for the UCI in the Off-Road Commission. He works down there in Egel in Switzerland in the UCI headquarters, where Matthias Brendler beat the hour record on the track. So in his lunch times, he probably manages to ride the track a little bit, and here he is in the World Championships. 114 laps to go. A little group of riders going clear, and it's Jacob During on the front, the Spanish rider Arriaga in second place, Gail Suter in third, and now Jonathan Dibben of Great Britain trying to go across. He started very well in this Omnium competition. Thanks for joining me on Twitter tonight at @UCI_track is where you can talk to us on Twitter as we go through the next sprint. Raman Chishku is the rider who takes 5 points. Casper Pedersen second. Aaron Gate accumulating a few more points for New Zealand. Jacob During takes 1 point as they get closer now to taking a lap on the rest of the field. Oh, it was a problem for the Brazilian rider, and that is Gideone Rodrigues as he swaps his front wheel over. 109 laps to go of this final points race in the Omnium. The Omnium contest then, 6 rounds of racing over 2 days. Shishku took those 5 points, Pedersen 3. One rider now going clear of the race, right there at the front. The Greek rider, Ioannis Spanopoulos, with a little bit of an advantage on the rest of the field, led by Martin Irvine of Ireland. Here's the standings then. Keep up to date, keep with me. Gaviria leading, 192 points. Remember, 20 points if you take a lap. Viviani in second at 169. Glenn O'Shea in third, 162. And here's the run through. Gail Suter riding very well, fifth in the world, 142 points. Aaron Gate in sixth, 140. Thomas Boudat of France in seventh place. Spanopoulos about to be caught by the field led by Thomas Boudat, the former world champion from last time. He's up there at the front of the race. Tim Velt now hits the front in the orange and white of the Netherlands. Gaviria looking very composed on the front of this race now, isn't he? He looks like he has everything where he wants it, despite crashing earlier on. Very impressive riding from this rider. Martin Irvine makes an attack. All these riders still prepared to work hard, and of course it's very important in terms of your world standing, in terms of points for world championships and Olympic games, that you continue to race hard. Every position that you get gives you more points, and it's all important for the run to Rio 2016. That's only a year away. So close now. Martin Irvine off the front with the sprint lap coming up now. The Irish rider who is sitting right now 18th place, 61 points Martin Irvine has. He crosses the line. Elia Viviani scores some points in second place, so he takes 3, which edges him a little bit closer now to Gaviria. So Irvine took 5, Viviani took 3, Jasper de Buth took 2, and Gaviria scored another point to go to 193. So he's tracking Viviani very, very well indeed. There's the result of sprint number 6 of the 16 sprints. And Fernando Gaviria leads with 193 to Viviani with 172. Glenn O'Shea sitting in the bronze medal position for Australia. 98 laps to go. And this points race calms down again a little bit. Thomas Boudat on the front. And now the French crowd go wild because they have seen the Frenchman trying to take a lap now. And if he did, he would move closer to the third place of Glenn O'Shea. He's currently on 139 points. 20 points would put him on 1:59, but Viviani refusing to let the Frenchman go. Gaviria right on his wheel. Suddenly, lots of riders on the attack. And that attack calms down. And we see now Glenn O'Shea at the front with Elia Viviani and Gaviria. They are the top 3 riders who are in this points race. Budat looks around. .92 laps to go in this points race here in the Omnium, as we see the Belarusian rider just going clear. We'll just carry this through the sprint. The Swiss rider Gail Suter, who works at the UCI, as we've mentioned, rides on the track in Aigle as he goes clear now on the sprint lap. These 2 riders looking to score a few more points. This would take Gail Suter closer to the points of Jasper de Bus. This rider is about to get himself into the top 4 places in the world. So the sprint, Shishku took it for Belarus. Gail Suter in second with 3 points. Manikov with 2 and Tim Velt with 1. And Velt now goes on the attack. I thought we'd take the opportunity, because I saw her around the commentary area, because we want to know out there as viewers, you want to know what's happening on the track, what it's been like, and you can't get much quicker than a rider who's just ridden in the World Championship scratch race. So a very warm welcome to a British rider with us now. A very warm welcome to Eleanor Barker.
Hello.
How are you, Eleanor?
Yeah, I'm alright, thank you. Pretty disappointed with this week, I guess, but yeah, pretty good thing.
So how has it been in the British camp? It seems like, you know, from your point of view, it's one of those situations where you're used to getting the gold medals.
Yeah, I guess we've all been a little bit disappointed, but that's how it goes. Sometimes you have a good year, sometimes you have a bad year, and it just so happens that unfortunately, as a team this year, we've not actually come away with any world titles so far, which I guess everyone's collectively pretty disappointed about.
I'm just checking, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
She couldn't hear me, so she couldn't hear my question, so she's just chatting away, which is good. She's a pro at this sort of thing. 86 laps to go. Yeah, I guess you're used to the medals, you're used to gold medals, but as I was talking earlier on to Rob Hales, who's been in the British camp, and he says, you know, as Thomas Budat goes on the attack, you're still there at world level winning silver medals and all that, but I guess the attitude of the British camp is you want golds and you're not happy unless you get them.
Yeah, I think as a whole that is the attitude of the British camp, and it's the kind of attitude I've got myself as well. So yeah, individually in the scratch race, then it was a kind of a win or nothing tactic, which was the same kind of thing that we did in the team pursuit. We tried a pretty risky strategy. We did some long turns that we've never ever tried before, but yeah, you have to take those risks, and sometimes they don't actually pay off, which is unfortunate.
Tell me about that team pursuit then. I mean, the world record for you was 4:16. Australia rode 4:13. Was it your change? You tried a change of strategy to try and go faster, and just sometimes that doesn't pay off. Do you think you've got enough in the tank as far as the squad is concerned to be looking at those sort of times?
I think we can't take anything away from the Aussies. I mean, there is no way that we would have gained 3 seconds. There was, yeah, it's pretty much nothing we can do, to be honest. They had it in the bag. So at least we can't really look back and say, if only we'd done this, we would have won. Yeah, so for this championship, they had it.
They nailed it. Let's just take this through the sprint. Gaviria, who is the leader of this points race, is the leader of the overall. He takes 5 points. Viviani with 3, Eliriaga with 2, and Luke with 1, which puts Gaviria on 198 points. Viviani with 175, Glenn O'Shea with 162 points. In terms of this track then, what has the atmosphere been like? What's this championship been like in comparison to other world championships you've ridden?
I guess the crowd's always pretty good at the World Championships. Yeah, everyone's really into the racing, so yeah, it's been pretty good. It's been nicer this year than last year because the track's just generally in better shape. Yeah, Cali's a partially outdoor track, so I guess if it rains, then that's the end of the race for the day. So it's nice to be in a properly constructed track this year. It made a big difference.
Yeah, very true. So what happens for you now? You've had your World Championship, you've been racing really, really hard. Do you now have a little bit of a break, a chance to have a holiday and then regroup, or what happens next?
Yeah, I'm not going on holiday, but I'm going to go home for a little bit and see my parents and my family. Just have a little bit of time of not thinking about cycling, and then hopefully come back a little bit more energised.
Thomas Boudat is trying to go across now. 76 laps to go, and Fernando Gaviria, Viviani and Glenn O'Shea are off the front of this race right now. The top 3 riders in the Omnium. Boudat is desperately trying to go across, and every time a French rider goes on the attack, the crowd goes absolutely wild. And how does this compare to London, Eleanor?
I guess having a home crowd is a massive advantage. You just get the atmosphere all the way around. So obviously the French crowd are going to cheer more for the French riders, just as the British are for the British riders. So it is nicer to ride at a home track, but at the same time I really do like this track, and it's been pretty fast. It's been some good times, so that's nice to see as well.
It's 8 metres wide. Is it very, very different in terms of how you ride it? And the bankids are 14 metres longer than they are normally, like on the Manchester track. So how does it ride?
I think it makes more of a difference in the bunch races, to be honest. I guess technically in the team pursuits it makes a little bit of a difference to your changes, but not massively. I think it just makes it easier to ride from the front in the scratch races because there's less time on the straight for people to come around. So I think that's a tactic that a lot of people are adopting in this points race now.
72 laps to go as we see Aaron Gates going off the front. We'll just take it through this sprint. I'll give Eleanor one more question. So Aaron Gate now on the attack. Jasper de Bust in second wheel right now. The Belarusian Shishku is in the 3rd place as they go for the next sprint. Aaron Gate leading, a former world champion, as they hit the line then, and Aaron Gate will take the 5 points. Jasper de Bust takes 3, Shishku takes 2, and Lung takes 1, which leaves the standings with Gaviria leading after that sprint with 198, Viviani with 175, Glenn O'Shea with 162, and Jasper de Bust with 150. Confirmation on the screen then after sprint number 9. Aaron Gate takes the points, Jasper de Bust in second. And it means as we count down towards the conclusion, Gaviria 198, Viviani 175, Glenn O'Shea 162, and we need a big attack now for a rider as Thomas Boudat goes on the attack to try and put himself in with a chance. So Eleanor, Rio, I guess, is next on the horizon. A long time away, but for you as an athlete, what happens now? Is all that focus towards Rio?
Yeah, I guess that makes it easier. It makes it a bit easier to get over this year, I guess, because all the focus is on next year. So this is really just a stepping stone to get there. But I think it's just going to be pretty similar preparation, just going through the World Cups and Euros and the Worlds again to try and get qualification points and try and get to Rio in the best shape that we can as a team.
Well, look, I know you'll go back. You'll get your focus. You'll work out what it is you need to do to get back, to take Britain back to the top of the board. Go back, recover, have a holiday. Thank you for taking the time. You didn't have to join us here and give the viewers a bit of your thoughts and interaction. Thanks, Eleanor Barker.
All right, you're welcome. Thank you.
Thomas Boudat off the front, on the attack. Thomas Boudat now on the attack, giving the French fans something to scream and shout about as he goes clear. Can he take a lap on the rest of the field? The flags are all out. The crowd are going pretty nuts out here in this arena. He's getting close, and if Thomas Boudat gets there, he'll be on 159 points. He'll move into 6th place overall. He is getting there. Thomas Boudat, any moment, is going to be in a situation where he could be challenging for a medal if he carries on like this. This is impressive from the Frenchman. The crowd have loved watching him over the last couple of days. He has the most unusual style in a pursuit I've ever seen. He doesn't look up. He looks down at the black line the whole time. I've got no idea how he knows which direction he's going in. Now the sprint's going to open up. That's going to hurt him. But he's going to take the 5 points in this sprint lap. So Boudat takes the 5 points. He needs to press on a little bit now. Behind him is Gaviria, looking really easy. And he almost simply just rides through and takes 3. Glenn O'Shea takes 2. Gail Suter takes 1, which means that Glenn O'Shea is now second overall. Gaviria with 2:01. Glenn O'Shea with 1:84. Viviani with 1:75. There's confirmation of the sprint number 10 of 16. And Boudat is still sitting a few meters, maybe 30, 40 meters off the front of the race with 59 laps to go. Gaviria leads then, there's confirmation. 2:01 to 1:84, Glenn O'Shea now in silver medal position. Elia Viviani in third, and here's the rundown of the top 8 riders, down to Thomas Boudat with 1:44, who's now been caught by the peloton, so things are shuffling around. Viviani is the rider who's hurting right now. He scored some early points, but now he's got to really hold on to his bronze medal. The Team Sky rider last night in the elimination was absolutely spent. He was lying on the track for an awful long time last night, trying to recover from the effort in the elimination. And you wonder whether he's just really suffering. He's got himself locked onto the wheel of Jasper de Bust of Belgium. There's only 5 points separating those two riders, and Viviani realises that if he to conserve his bronze medal, he's got to sit and watch the Belgian rider. Meanwhile, Glenn O'Shea and Gaviria are locked in combat in the middle of this peloton right now. Well, thanks to all of you for joining me here on tonight's coverage. @Lacrosse UCI_track is where you can join us for tonight's racing. If you've got any thoughts, any comments, or whether you're just enjoying the racing here from Saint-Quentin-en-Yvelines here in Paris. Great atmosphere, sold out tonight, 5,000 fans, really noisy. Doesn't get much better than this as far as track racing is concerned. Heading towards the next sprint with 50 laps to go. .52 laps to go now. And Martin-Irvine of Ireland is slightly off the front. Irvine slightly clear. And as they head towards the sprint lap now, it is Martin Irvine who took the 5 points. Gaviria took 3, Glenn O'Shea took 2, and Lucas Liss took 1 point. So confirmation of sprint number 11 of 16. Tim Belt takes 5, Irvine 3, Gaviria 2, Glenn O'Shea with 1 point. And that means that Gaviria consolidates his lead even further. Viviani is firmly locked in. You can pick him out in the blue, the Azzurra blue of Italy. He's just trying to stay somewhere near Jasper de Bust. Looking back, de Bust has gone to the back of the group, and here are the standings on the screen. The top 8 there, another attack. He's not going to give up, is he? But he doesn't look forward. He just bumps down onto the boards on the inside of his track there. Thomas Boudat, he has an amazing style. Rides for Eurocar. Gaviria now is one of the hottest properties in world cycling. He's going to have some tests apparently with the Ethics Quick Step team. Patrick Lefebvre particularly keen to sign Gaviria. And having beaten Mark Cavendish in St. Louis, and Cavendish apparently was just amazed at the speed of Gaviria's jump, and that comes from this track speed. An interesting question from Henrik: which of any nations competing here don't have a velodrome? Depends whether you're talking about an indoor or an outdoor velodrome and the sort of facilities. Ireland have a kind of track, but not an indoor one. So Martin Irvine, who is here, Ireland have to base themselves in Mallorca for the season, so they can build up towards the racing. And if you compare that to Great Britain, who have now about 5 indoor tracks, it's very, very different. So there are riders who are at a little bit of a disadvantage. Most of the other places have tracks, though. If you look at the sort of facilities they have, it just is very, very different. New Zealand now have their track down in Cambridge. Colombia have their track in Cali. Italy, in terms of facilities on indoor tracks, not fantastic. Actually, Elia Viviani trains down in Aigle in Switzerland as we hit 41 laps to go. And Tim Velt, at 40 laps to go, takes the 5 points. Gail Suter is moving up. Aaron Gate takes 2. Shishku takes 1, which means that Gaviria still leads with 2:03. Glenn O'Shea 1:85. Viviani with 1:75. And now Gail Suter 7th overall on 1:49. 12 sprints gone of the 16 sprints. Gaviria with 2:03, Glenn O'Shea 1:85, Elia Viviani 1:75, Jasper de Burst in 4th place. Only 5 points is what he needs to go equal on terms with Viviani. Other nations, just thinking about the tracks they have, Australia have a number of tracks. Switzerland have the track in Grenchen, where Jens Vogt beat the hour record, and also the track in Aigle at the UCI headquarters. And the only other place that may not have a track is Hong Kong, China. They may not have a track. I don't remember them having a track down there in Hong Kong. I might be wrong. Someone will probably correct me. So hopefully that answers your question, Henrik. Thank you very much for that. 36 laps to go now. And it is Aaron Gate, the former world champion, on the front. Jasper de Burst with Elia Viviani almost attached to his back wheel. Swings up the track. And another attack happens. Jonathan Dibben of Great Britain, who comes from my home city, down in Southampton on the south coast, as he goes clear, looking around to see where everyone is. And Jonathan Dibben, 12th overall in this Omnium contest. Ioannis Spanopoulos is the rider from Greece who swings up the track and lets the rider in black, Aaron Gate, go through. Martin Irvine also. And Elia Viviani sprinting across. All a little bit of bumping and barging going on at the back of the group. 33 laps to go. Aaron Gate trying to move right up on the standings here. He's got 167. And thanks for the message about the track in Ireland. It's great to have a facility over there, and I hope you get your indoor track as well soon, which I understand is pretty close to happening. Any facility should be held on to. I remember in Southampton we had an outdoor track and then it was taken away, and everyone wishes it was still there, the outdoor track we all raced on. Glenn O'Shea just raced through there to take the points. 5 points to him. Viviani scores as well. Gaviria gets the 3rd place points, and a photo for the last points in that sprint with 30 laps to go. But it is confirmed. Glenn O'Shea with 5, Viviani with 3, Gaviria with 2, Aaron Gate with 1. Glenn O'Shea now is moving a bit closer to Gaviria. This race may not well be over, but Gaviria will keep an eye on O'Shea. There's the point standings, 205, 190 to Glenn O'Shea, and Viviani now moves a bit further ahead, 178 for the rider from Team Sky, who has won stages of the Tour of Beijing, Tour of Dubai recently. Also Tour of Turkey, he's won stages in, and the Dauphiné, as he is now the designated sprinter for Team Sky, along with the lead-out train they have now. Andy Fenn, another useful sprinter. 27 laps to go. There's Glenn O'Shea. I was talking to Glenn yesterday. He was giving me a little bit of information on what this track is like to ride. Viviani swings up. So we're getting close to the conclusion of this Omnium. Overall, this is the final race. Six different individual races. We had the scratch race at the beginning, won by Viviani. The individual pursuit, which was won by Glenn O'Shea. The elimination race, won by Viviani. Then we moved on to the time trial, won by Lucas Liss. Viviani won the flying lap, and it's only really Viviani's individual pursuit and time trial that have hurt him, because he's had, so far, 3 individual wins, which left him in 2nd place before this started. Gaviria, though, has been more consistent. 3rd, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 8th, 1st, which gives Gaviria at the top of the leaderboard, and now the most points in this points race. 23 laps to go. So the Uzbekistan rider going clear, Timur Gumarov. 22 laps, 21 laps to go as they go across the line that time. And it is Tumarov who is just trying to score a few more points here. And the attack comes from Kasper Pedersen, and Aaron Gate goes through as well. And the points go to Kasper Pedersen, Aaron Gate, Lucas Liss, and Gumarov scores 1 point for Uzbekistan. Kasper Pedersen then moving a little bit further up in the standings for Denmark, puts him into 13th place. Aaron Gate now is in 4th place overall. Confirmation of sprint number 14. Pedersen with 5, Gate with 3, Lucas Liss with 2, Gumarov with 1. Only 2 more sprints left to go. The standings, as you can see, Gaviria is the leader, 205 to O'Shea with 190, Viviani with 178, and Aaron Gate with 171. Jasper de Bust on 170, so close between those two. But Aaron Gate of New Zealand is edging a little bit closer to that of Viviani, who now has to worry about 2 riders for his bronze medal. But he needs 12 points to go ahead of Glenn O'Shea, so Viviani would need a lap. As Thomas Boudat decides he's going to delight the French crowd again. He looks down at his stem more than Chris Froome does. Thomas Boudat with an advantage on the rest of the field. The peloton led by Gail Suter of Switzerland as he swings up. Thomas Boudat being urged on by the French crowd. Martin Irvine doesn't want to let the Frenchman go, so he's going to chase him down. 15 laps to go now. And Thomas Boudat still clear. Bit of an advantage on the rest of the field. 14 laps to go. And we have this attack still from Thomas Boudat as he remains clear. And Jasper de Bust tracked immediately by Elia Viviani. Viviani is not going to let de Bust go anywhere. And I'm getting lots of information on tracks around the world. 2 tracks in New Zealand, one in Invercargill, and the most recent one in Cambridge, as Viviani sticks on the wheel of his closest adversary, or one of them, Jasper de Bust. Aaron Gate is now on 171. Tim Velt going around the top of the track as he tries to take a few more points. Tim Velt right now is 11th overall in this Omnium contest. He hits the line. Jasper de Bust actually scores some points, and that is now a little bit dangerous for Viviani, but 7 points will separate those 2 riders with one more sprint left to go. Confirmation sprint number 15. Tim Velt with 5 points, Jasper de Bust with 3, Viviani with 2. Martin Irvine takes 1 point. And only 1 sprint now remains, with Gaviria leading, 205 points so far. Glenn O'Shea with 190, Viviani with 180. So Viviani needs to take a lap if he wants to overtake Glenn O'Shea. It's not likely to happen in the last 8 laps. Glenn O'Shea is looking here at a silver medal for Australia. Viviani looking to take a medal here for Italy. We haven't had an Italian medal yet. The Chinese rider starting to go clear, and that is Lu Hao. Lu Hao in the red and yellow, trying to just get a bit of an advantage on the rest of the field. 14th overall in this Omnium, with 7 laps now remaining. The top places, just remind you, Gaviria says to the rider Glenn O'Shea, come through, but the standings now, Gaviria leads 205. After 6 rounds of racing, he's got the battle scars on his shorts there, having crashed earlier on in this race, and still he has held on to his advantage. So Gaviria with 205, Glenn O'Shea with 190, Viviani with 180 points. Gaviria almost touched the wheel of Viviani then. That could have been close on the run into the finish. And Viviani senses the medal he's been searching for, as our rider from Hong Kong, China, who was involved in the action earlier on, Chun Wing Lung, goes to the front, but now another big attack, and that's from the United States of America, Jacob Doering. Doering trying to just get the final points of the evening here in the Omnium. He's being chased there by the Russian rider who's tracking him, Viktor Manakov, the bronze medalist in 2014. 3 laps now remaining in this Omnium, 6 rounds of competition. It's all coming down to the final sprint, but as long as Gaviria gets across the line, he will be the winner of this Omnium overall. The big attack now with 1 lap now remaining, and it is the rider Jasper de Bust who's trying to get the 5 points, and that would get him close to Viviani, but it wouldn't mean he'd get the medal. Jasper de Bust trying to take the final 5 points. Manakov and Aaron Gate all across the line in front, and de Bust takes 5 points. Gaviria sits up. He is the world champion of the Omnium. Gaviria, 2 times a junior world champion on the track, is now the world champion of the Omnium despite crashing. Glenn O'Shea will take the silver medal for Australia, and Elia Viviani of Italy will take the bronze medal. And after last night, when he was suffering lying on the track, after a very, very exciting final elimination, Elia Viviani now, after a night's sleep, has got the bronze medal he's been looking for. Final sprint then, Jasper de Bust 5 points, Viktor Manakov with 3, Aaron Gate with 2, Elia Viviani with 1 point. So Gaviria kisses his medal, and he is now the world champion. The final classification then, Gaviria leads with 205 points, or wins with 205 points. And he's now going to go across and just be congratulated. He congratulates Viviani. Here he goes. He's going to take his lap of honour now. And while he does so, he's going to ride around the track. There we go. He'll take his lap of honour. And whilst he does, because what's coming up next is the sprints again. We're going to turn our attention back to the women's sprint finals. An appropriate moment to welcome another guest here with me, who is a very good sprinter indeed. He's a Keirin world champion. As we see Gaviria being congratulated. What an emotional moment as he wins the world title. A very warm welcome to Shane Perkins.
How you going? Nice to see you. Thanks for having me.
No problem at all. Lovely to welcome you here to the track. His sister congratulates him, of course. Juliana Gaviria, she's been racing here. Gaviria is an amazing sprinter. He's got hardly any lycra left on the back of his shorts there after the crash. Shane, look, very warm welcome. Congratulations on the Aussie performances over the last few days. It's been immense for you, hasn't it?
Oh, it's been fantastic as a team, and to be part of the team. I'm very, very proud of what the team's been able to do. It's yeah, fantastic to be part of.
Now, this track, we're going to turn our attention now to the women's sprint finals. We've got Qianqi Chong and we've got Stephanie Morton riding for the bronze. There's our classification of the Omnium on the screen. Christina Vogel will ride again for gold against Alice Litley. As a sprinter, as you know, we're looking at power riding here on the track, the bankings and everything. We'll just carry on looking at highlights of the Omnium and the crashes and everything else. Tell us, how is this track in terms of being a sprinter, being a Keirin rider? How does it ride?
Obviously, I mean, looking at it from a spectator's point of view, they probably wouldn't notice much. Yeah. For us, obviously, being to a lot of tracks around the world, it is quite different. The biggest thing for us is how wide the track is. It's a metre wider than most other 250-metre tracks. So obviously that plays into your qualification quite a bit, as you see with the qualifying times in the men's and women's sprints. They're coming off a much higher bank, entering at much higher speed, which is showing in the 200s. You've also got big wide bends, so not very steep, and long bends and short straights. So it does make it a little bit more difficult to pass if you're in the wrong position. But it can also suit a rider that is coming over high beside another rider, because you do end up getting a little bit of a runoff as you exit the banks as well. You've
got a little bit more steepness of the run into the straights, yeah? Yeah,
definitely. But you do have to pick your moment when you hit the wheel or hit your opponent coming from the back.
Yeah, to get that bit of acceleration. Yeah. So Shane Perkins is with us. We'll just let Shane sit back and enjoy this race, and he can give us his analysis afterwards. This is the race here for the bronze medal. This is Qianqi Chong of China and Stephanie Morton of Australia, as they, of course, go for the best of 3 rides. If they win straight 2, that's it. The bronze medal will be decided. Stephanie Morton, a Commonwealth Games champion. Qianqi Chong is the up-and-coming star of Chinese sprinting. She's already dismissed Xuan Guo as they now accelerate around the track, and we will see who takes the first ride. Stephanie Morton going high. Qianqi Chong is inside the sprinter's red line as Morton now tries to go round the top to get a little bit of speed, but Chong is so fast. She makes that look relatively easy. 11.340, and she goes 1-0 up in the contest, and she didn't look like she was troubled at all in that ride. So Shane, looking at the replay, what did you notice in that race?
Yeah, I think Steph just got a little bit outsmarted there. She actually had a nice distance off Zong earlier in the race, but Zong, you know, really raced that quite well, and brought, had the speed pretty good where Steph felt comfortable, and then brought Steph a bit closer to her, and that's where she kept her on the hip the whole way. So it was a perfect ride from Zong. Steph will go back to the drawing board and look at some things that they can work on there and come out and have another crack at it.
Well, I understand that you have this analysis that your analysis team sends straight into the centre of the track. So she will literally be able to just go in there, sit there, look at the replay and work her tactics out, yeah?
Definitely. I mean, technology these days is pretty fantastic, as we all know. So, it's great to be able to, win or lose, go back and see, what did I do right? What could I have done better? And then leave that behind and put together a plan to come out in the next ride and win it, do what you can.
It's amazing, the analysis. Right, we're going to turn our attention here to Christina Vogel against Ellis Litley. This is for the gold medal. Ellis Litley in the previous ride made things look very, very simple, but Christina Vogel is, of course, a rider who has so much experience, so much expertise on the track. A multiple world champion in different sprint disciplines, the sprint, the team sprint, and she's, of course, an Olympic champion too. Ellis Litley is the young pretender. We noticed her in the World Cup. She's the tallest rider in this competition. In the last round, she made things look very simple as she dismissed Stephanie Morton to go through to this final for the gold medal. And she's looked very, very relaxed all the way through this competition. She's been smiling away in the centre of the track, almost just taking the pressure off herself by just sitting there, smiling away and giving everyone time. Christina Vogel, on the other hand, will like a little bit of a fight here. She likes to manoeuvre around the track, and we saw last time as she was trying to get through to the final just how she rode. Whoops. And having said that, Christina Vogel slides off. What happened there?
Yeah, unfortunately, they were going just a little bit too slow, and Christina's tyres lost a bit of grip and slipped out. The bike slipped out from under her there. Hopefully she'll be all right, though, and obviously that would have shaken her a little bit, but she'll compose herself. She's got a lot of experience and get her mind ready and body ready to come out and get ready for the first ride again.
So in terms of these bankings, we look at them and on the camera, it doesn't look that steep, but we're talking of 44 degrees, aren't we, on either end? And if you are going slow, you just slide.
Yeah, definitely. Look, the way the tracks are built, they actually, if you run your hand over them to help the riders stay up on the boards better, they're actually built as they layer the boards up. Or sorry, if you go back down from the top, each board comes out about a millimetre or half a millimetre or so. If you run your hand over it, you can actually feel it. So that actually helps when the riders are riding slow to sort of grip the tyres a bit better.
Right.
Unfortunately,
I didn't realise that.
Unfortunately, then it didn't help Christina. But yeah, yeah. So just slightly to give the riders a bit of a hand, because obviously it is pretty slippery, and with the tyres being pumped up to the pressures they are, sometimes you come down as we saw then.
So Christina Vogel will just compose herself, and when you're going to try and win a world championship, title at this sort of level, and we think back to your 2011 world championship, Kieran, you don't want anything to phase you, do you? You want everything to be just right and keep the mind focused all the way through.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, you can't think too much about these things. That's something that Christina can't really control, and I'm sure she would have prepared herself for challenges that may pop up along the way at these World Championships. She's multiple world champion. I'm sure she'll be able to refocus, and that's the biggest part of it, is to be able to, when something does happen, to be able to leave it behind, refocus on what you're here to do and forget about it. And then later on, when it's all said and done, you can look back at it and go, oh, wow, wasn't that interesting?
Do you have, in terms of Australia, do you have that mind coaching, or is it just something that's self-taught, or what happens as an athlete?
Yeah, certainly. I've worked with a sports psychologist for probably about 10 or 11 years now, and it's been fantastic. Obviously, I'm a father to two kids. I have a wife as well, so having my sports psychologist there is actually a fantastic thing, trying to juggle the professional riding and also, you know, my home life, which is the most important part of my life. So it's great having someone there to support that and speak through things and get the best out of me as an athlete and as a person.
Absolutely. Well, it's always very important. And sometimes, you know, it's one of those things that people think is not that critical, but the mind is a muscle. It needs looked after, doesn't it?
Definitely, yeah. The muscles don't work if the mind's not telling them to go. So
Exactly.
you need plenty of work there and a lot of confidence in yourself to do what you do.
Fantastic. Right, enjoy this one. Christina Vogel is back on the track. Here we are then, Christina Vogel, Ellis Litley. Vogel having toppled off, going very slowly in that first run of this heat. Just to remind you again, it is the best of 3 contests. So, Vogel and Litley. Vogel is the shorter rider from Germany on the front of this duo. Ellis Litley in the orange and black of the Netherlands, as Vogel likes to just manoeuvre the bike up and down the banking. Ellis Litley, she almost doesn't look like she's putting a lot of power into the bike sometimes. It's an intriguing style, but she's so strong as Vogel on this lovely camera shot from above goes underneath. And now she's going to turn on the power. Vogel now trying to accelerate. Litley going round the top. She's going to use the banking to try and accelerate if she can, but Vogel's going to fight her all the way. Heading to the finish line, it's a photograph between those 2 riders. I don't know who got it. It was very, very close. Vogel and Litley neck and neck as they hit the finish line there. And I kind of feel that whoever wins this one is going to just have that little... Oh, it's so close on the line. Well, it hasn't been called yet. It's come up on my screen as Vogel hitting the line first, but we'll just double. Well, Christina Vogel giving herself a little bit of motivation there. Maybe we'll get the photograph in a second. But Christina Vogel goes 1-0 up in the contest in the women's sprint. Here we go with the replay. Shane, that was really close.
Oh, and look, what a fantastic ride from Christina after her little mishap at the start there. Look, she controlled that race perfectly. She rode it very, very well, positioned herself well on the track. Litley, I think, you know, she's been doing this for a little while now, but maybe a little bit of inexperience there. Hit the wheel a little bit too early, but look, she's got a lot of power, and I'm sure she'll go back to the drawing board with her coach and look at it. Maybe give a little bit more distance and run at the wheel a bit harder. Try not to hit it as soon. She hit it as she was sort of going up the banking at the end of the back straight there. As you do that, the front rider actually starts to ride away from you.
Really?
Because you're going a bit further.
Right,
so
okay.
Maybe in the next ride, if she's at the back, I mean, look at that. Yeah, so close. But again, that's all it takes.
It is. It's not even the width of a tyre between those 2 riders. So Litley is beaten by Christina Vogel 1-0, and so close between the 2 riders there. It is. It's so scientific, this sprint game, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot. Obviously, you know, the power meters, the bikes, the tyres, you know, the wheels, gearing, skin suits, helmets, gloves. There's so much that goes into it. Obviously, the training program, that's the big one. The psychology, it's all part of it. So, you know, that's what we've got high performance managers for now, to manage all of that side of it for us, so that we can just ride our bike and do what we love. Yeah.
We'll turn our attention to the men's individual pursuit. This is the finals, 4,000 metres on the track. And as you can tell, there is a French rider in this. Alexander Serov on the left for Russia, Julien Maurice of France. We'll get this race underway. And we'll just carry on talking for a second before we get to the real important point of this race, the last 2,000 metres, and we'll see how the French rider goes on this track as he makes his way around. Look, you talk about the tactics of sprinting, and you talk about the scientific approach to everything. Have you noticed a big difference during your career as to how much more science and input there is to you as a rider compared to when you started?
Yeah, certainly. my first World Championships was in 2006 in Bordeaux, in France, believe it or not. And yeah, look, the bikes then, obviously we had the SRMs, that kind of thing, the wheels, Mavic, great sponsor of Cycling Australia. I think where we've got more of the science coming from these days is more to do with the skin suits, the psychology, and then also the training programs. I think that's taken a pretty big leap. I mean, I say that, but in my career, I definitely have noticed that sometimes the simple things, you know, are the best way. Right. But you know, sometimes the simple things can be made quite complicated, and that's where it does get difficult. Is with all the science that's coming in, so many studies out there. You know, what bits do you take away from it? Yeah. So you know, obviously for me, I try to keep things pretty simple. And let the scientists and all that and the coaches look over things and come to me and try to implement some of those things into our program, but not trying to change too much, of course.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, things that work for someone and may not work for somebody else.
Definitely, and that's a massive part of it too. You could have all of this, you know, a fantastic bike, great, the best skin suit, the best aerodynamic position and all that, but if, you know, going back to psychology, if you're not happy and you're not believing in what you're doing, then you're not going to get the best performance out of you as an athlete. So that's a huge part of it too. I think all the science has lifted a fair bit with, I think, the technology with the internet now and all that sort of stuff. Lots of studies being out there for everyone to see. Part of that too is like with the coaching staff. You know, how do you distribute that to the rider and how do you implement that into the program? So as you say, everyone is different. You don't want to go changing too much, so you obviously have to be careful there. But that's why the coaches get the big bucks, isn't it?
Here we are then as we see the French rider Maurice has gone through the 2,000-metre point. 2:11.269. Serov in 2:12.676. The Russian rider trying to come back. It's a straight ride for the bronze medal. Are France going to be on the podium yet again in this individual pursuit? It is Maurice who is just now slightly ahead. 3:15.483 to 3:16.481. The French fans are now all on their feet just in front of us. You can kind of sense the tension. They feel there's going to be another medal here for France in these World Championships. It is now 750 metres to go. Serov is a very, very good time trialist. There are fans here with bright blue, bright white and bright red hair over to my right-hand side with horns buzzing them as much as they possibly can. They're enjoying this because they're now on their feet. It's getting close. Is Maurice going to bring home a bronze medal for France? The atmosphere every time a French rider rides on this track changes totally. 250 metres to go. Serov is starting to come back a little bit. 0.403. And he is getting urged around the track now. Can he dig deep and try and win this one? Serov is fighting. This Russian rider has a very, very good finish. Oh, look at that. It is so close on the line. But it is Maurice who wins. 4:21.419. The average speed 55.083. Serov 4:21.801 on the line. That was pretty close. But Maurice is Julien Maurice is the bronze medalist in the individual pursuit. That was a thrilling run into the finish. The French love it. Everyone's on their feet. The tricolores are out. And yet again, another medal. They love this track. It is certainly a home to some medals for France. The atmosphere changes in here, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. You can certainly tell when a French rider comes out onto the track. But look, good on them. They're getting into it. It takes me back to 2012 when we had the World Championships in Melbourne, my home track. I was just thinking about the feelings of that Maurice would be going through there after winning the bronze medal. It's certainly gives you a massive lift when you're out there and makes you very proud, obviously, for him to be a Frenchman.
Well, it's great to have Shane Perkins here with us in the track at the commentary position. I'm going to keep you here for one more ride because coming up, give us some insight. Jack Bowbridge is about to ride for the gold medal against Stephen Kung. Jack, of course, went for the look at the reaction of the coach. Jack Bowbridge went for the hour record and didn't get it. He looked like he went a little bit too deep at the beginning of the ride, but now Jack has got a chance of taking this gold medal. What's Jack like as a guy?
Definitely, Jack's pretty fired up for this individual pursuit here. As you can see him concentrating there, he's put a lot of work in. He's a new father as well. He's got a little girl
I didn't realise
back home, so obviously a lot going on. I think the other thing too, in the lead up to the hour record, he had a pretty busy schedule with the Tour Down Under and a few other things as well. So I think he actually did really fantastic there. He took himself to a place he's never been before. Obviously,
probably one he doesn't want to go back to.
Yeah. He reckons he wants to do it again, but I'm not too sure. He might be eating his words there.
Jack Bowbridge against Stephen Kung for the gold medal in this individual pursuit. Jack Bowbridge wearing this unusual turbine in his nose, which opens up the airway. I've never seen a rider use this before.
Yeah, neither have I. I've heard a fair bit about it in Australia, obviously, with Jack using it and a couple of other riders. So apparently it lets a little bit more airflow into the body so that the body can utilise a bit more oxygen. So it obviously isn't hurting him out there. So, hey, if you believe in it and you think it works, why not?
Why not? Give it a go. Jack Bowbridge then, well, to him, a 4K pursuit is nothing compared to the hour record, but Jack Bowbridge is the world record holder in 4:10.534. The previous record holder in the individual pursuit is sitting to my left-hand side. Chris Boardman is the previous record holder. They never thought his record would be beaten, and Bowbridge beat it, which was impressive.
Look, Jack's a super talent. When he puts his mind to something, there's no stopping him. So as you can see here, he's gone out quite fast, and he's got his eye on the Swiss rider in front of him. So it's good to have him in the same straight there, which gives him a bit of a target.
Jack Bowbridge then is looking already like he's got Stephen Kung in front of him, and this is an individual pursuit. It doesn't matter. He catches the rider, the race is over, and Bowbridge already, after 1,000 metres, is already in the same straight almost as Stephen Kung, who's fighting back the Swiss rider, who is going to try and go for the gold medal, but Bowbridge is just absolutely motoring. He is cruising around this track, and he is kicking on like there's no tomorrow. Bowbridge wants the gold medal. He wants the rainbow bands. He wants to bring it home for Australia and bring another gold medal to this country that have had the most scintillating world championships we have seen them have for many, many years. It has been a gold rush in the Australian pen, as we see Bowbridge still kicking on a little bit more. He wants to try and come back at 2,000 metres. He is well ahead in 2:08.199. Stephen Kung in 2:11.364 for Jack Bowbridge now to try and close in on Kung, who looks like he's fighting back just a little bit. The styles of these riders, very, very different. Stephen Kung has a much higher frontal area, as you can see on the bike. Very high top tube, very high head tube. Jack Bowbridge, much more aero. He has slightly higher risers as we look here at the times now, heading towards the 3,000 metre point. And Bowbridge, has he gone out a little bit too hard? The coach is shaking his head a little, and he's saying, look, Jack, come on. You've got to dig in a little bit deeper here because Stephen Kung is not going to give up. He is fighting his way back. Bowbridge starting to hurt a little bit. Stephen Kung, mouth wide open. This is an absolute fight now between these riders. I thought Bowbridge was going to catch Stephen Kung. 3:13.207 to 3:14.780. The difference is not that much now. 1.5 seconds. Stephen Kung is a bit of a diesel engine. He'll start to come back even more. Jack Bowbridge burying himself, as we've heard. He had a little bit of a tough time with the hour record, but He rode the Tour Down Under. He'll have loads of stamina. He's got to really bury himself now. The coach is urging him on, and Stefan Kung is coming back. He is fighting his way back. Jack Bowbridge now is in a place that he doesn't want to be, as Stefan Kung is getting closer and closer to getting this win, the gold medal. 1 lap to go. Bowbridge now goes through. This is so tight between these two riders. Who is going to win this one? Bowbridge on the other. They are neck and neck. Absolutely neck and neck. I think Stefan Kung could be winning this one. Jack Bowbridge going for the line. Who's going to hit it first? Whoa, look at that. I think it's Stefan Kung who wins it. 4:18.915 to 4:19.184. Stefan Kung is the world champion. What a fight. He was in the same straight as Jack Bowbridge. Somehow he found enough tempo, enough power, enough stamina to come back at Jack Bowbridge, who went out so hard in the opening kilo. Just give you an idea, Bowbridge's opening kilo was 1:5.921. Stefan Kung's was 1:9.322 for the opening kilo. That was a difference of 3 and a bit seconds, and Jack Bowbridge then hurt later on. He's an all-or-nothing bike rider, and Stefan Kung is the world champion. What an incredible individual pursuit final. Shane Perkins. Oh.
Wow, that was very exciting, I must say. I mean, obviously, I love sprinting. It's in my blood, but to see that race, obviously, it would have been fantastic to see Jack win there, but what a race for the crowd. That was fantastic. Unfortunately, Jack probably went out a little bit too hard there. As you said, he's gone out in a 1:5.9 as opposed to Kung's 1:09.3, and he's probably just paid the price a little bit towards the end there. But yeah, what a race. That was fantastic.
It was some race. It was just a slender win there by Stefan Kung at 4:18.915 to 4:19.184. Those two riders, what a tussle between them. Absolutely stunning to see. Well, track racing is thrilling, isn't it?
It is. It's fantastic. I mean, look at that. That's fantastic. The feeling of winning a world title, it's certainly up there, and good on him. And you saw the coach before. It's obviously a team effort. It's a fantastic feeling, that one. Yeah.
One final question for you before you go and go back to the Aussie camp and chat and see how they all are. When you've won that world title and you wake up the next morning, can you still remember the feeling?
Yeah, certainly. Obviously, it stays with you forever. I just remember going across the line and just, obviously, you think of all the things you've done to get to that point and the challenges that you've had, and it all, in my case, it all kind of hit me because I had some massive challenges in my career and in my life to get to that point, and thought about all the people that had helped me. This was for me, and that then it was for me and for them, and also embracing my coach as I came through, because it was a huge team effort.
Stefan Kung wins in 4:18.915. Jack Bowbridge 4:19.184. There's the gold medal positions. Wow, what a race.
Yeah, certainly
Shane,
some fast
thank you
times
very
too.
much. Those times were incredible. Shane, thank you very much for joining us. We're going to go now to the interview with the winner of the men's Omnium. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Can I just say a happy birthday to my daughter, who turns 4, Sunday morning, Saturday here, but Sunday morning in Australia today. So I miss you, I love you, and I'll see you in a few days.
Thanks, Shane. Right, we'll go to the interview now with the interview of Gaviria, who took the win in the men's Omnium. Here he is.
Enhorabuena, Fernando. Qué gran resultado, campeón del mundo a 20 años.
Sí, es un resultado estupendo por el que vine a trabajar y por el que quería conseguir desde que salí de mi casa, desde La Ceja. Siempre soñé con este título, lo tenía en juvenil, ya quería más, quería el campeonato mundial élite, y hoy poderlo conseguir es una alegría enorme.
y es una buena venganza después de la caída de Fabián hoy en el entrenamiento.
Sí, me entristece la caída de él porque más que un amigo de selección, más que el novio, el esposo de mi hermana, es un amigo, es un compañero que ha estado conmigo en las malas y en las buenas, entonces nos llevamos demasiado bien y al darme cuenta que por poco podía estar perdiendo la vida por culpa de ese accidente, me entristeció mucho. Al principio me venían las lágrimas, no podía ubicar bien mi cabeza en el objetivo que era hacer las cosas bien y al principio me costó, pero sabía que tenía que seguir adelante y qué forma de terminarlo y podérselo dedicar a él.
Sí, y Colombia hay una gran tradición de ruta, pero con ti, Fabián, Elvir, hay también hoy una tradición de pista, ¿eh?
Sí, en Colombia hay mucha tradición de solo ser escaladores, pero últimamente hemos venido estando trabajando en pista y en los sprints, en llegadas planas, y hemos podido demostrar que también podemos ser un poco fuertes y podemos ir buscando ser una potencia a nivel mundial.
Gracias y mucha suerte.
Fernando Gaviria then making his way to the podium. So the celebrations of the medalists. And here we are with the ceremony of the men's Omnium.
Ladies and gentlemen, the medal ceremony for the UCI Track Cycling World Championships Men's Omnium.
Mesdames et messieurs, cérémonie protocolaire des championnats du monde de piste, UCI Omnium Homme.
The men's Omnium ceremony.
And UCI World Champions jersey will be presented by Vice President of the Union Cycliste Internationale, David Lapachon.
Les médailles et le maillot de champion du monde UCI sont remis par le vice-président de l'Union cycliste internationale, Monsieur David Lapachon.
Winner of the bronze medal, representing
So the bronze medal will go to Italy, to Elia Viviani.
De l'Italie.
Elia Viviani.
Elia Viviani then stands on the podium as the bronze medalist in these World Championships.
Winner of the silver medal, representing Australia.
La médaille d'argent pour le représentant de l'Australie.
Glenn O'Shea.
Glenn O'Shea, the silver medalist, another medal to add to the Australian tally here in these World Championships.
The UCI Track Cycling World Championships Men's Omnium gold medalist and winner of the UCI World Champions jersey, representing Colombia.
Champion du monde et vainqueur de la médaille d'or de l'Omnium, homme des championnats du monde de piste, UCI, le représentant de la Colombie.
Fernando Gaviria.
Fernando Gaviria is the world champion from Colombia. This young guy has got some talent, hasn't he? The world champion pulls on the rainbow bands. Fernando Gaviria becomes even more hot property.
Of Saint-Quentin-en-Yvelines, Michel Logier.
Les fleurs sont remises par le président de la casquille de Saint-Quentin-en-Yvelines, Monsieur Michel Logier.
And we wait now for the national anthem of Colombia. The presentation of the men's Omnium. Fernando Gaviria, the world champion. Glenn O'Shea in second place. Elia Viviani in third. So we turn our attention back to the women's sprint finals. It's interesting, isn't it, that Qianqi Xiong, Christina Vogel, Ellis Litley are keeping their legs warm. Stephanie Morton. Stephanie Morton sitting there just quite chilled out. So the focus then, Vogel just having a drink. Litley just getting ready to go into action. And of course, let's remind ourselves of the situation. Christina Vogel leads 1-0, a slender advantage, just a tyres width really, between her and Litley in round one, but that doesn't matter, she's 1-0 up. Qianqi Xiong of China is the leader in the bronze medal ride-off. Stephanie Morton has to win this one to take it to a decider.
Competition continues with the women's sprint finals. Bronze medal, race 2.
Pour la finale vitesse femme, donc troisième et quatrième place, médaille de bronze entre Zhong, Chine et Stephanie Morton, Australie.
Introducing the riders for the bronze medal final, race 2, representing China, Qianqi Xiong, representing Australia, Stephanie.
This is the ride-off for the bronze medal then. In the red and yellow of China, Qianqi Xiong, the rider who is 1-0 up. Stephanie Morton will have gone back into the pen in the centre of the track and worked out what her tactics are going to be to try and bring this one to 1-1, to give herself a chance of being the bronze medalist in the World Championships. If she can draw level, the pressure then will have turned, and it will be on Chong for the finish. And we'll have a deciding race. And of course, if the momentum is with another rider, after you've gone ahead, mentally it's difficult. Right, 1 lap to go. Morton going up to the top of the banking slightly as Chong tries to hold her off. Morton, though, seems to have a little bit of speed as they head towards the finish line. It is the bronze medal will go to Tianqi Chong of China, 11.409. She will be on the podium. The bronze medal, 2-0. And Stephanie Morton, the experience will be good here at this World Championship. 4th place with a great run of races, but beaten by this talent from China. Tianqi Chong, just so fast and so strong. She has a similar stature to Victoria Pendleton in some ways, quite lithe, skinny and powerful. So she'll be on the podium later, and now we turn our attention to decide the gold medal. Well, I must admit, that individual pursuit was something special, wasn't it? Very well worth watching over and over again. Jack Bowbridge, all or nothing. I agree with Pete Newton, who has messaged me on Twitter at @McCrossan to just say, yep, the precocious talent, all or nothing. It was absolutely all or nothing. He went down fighting, he gets the silver medal, but he was almost catching the rider in front of him. Here we go then, this is for the gold medal. Our final race of the night will be the Omnium in the women's elimination in the Omnium. So don't forget, we will have more action after this, even if it goes to a decider. There's another race in the Omnium contest to come. Christina Vogel there in the white and black of Germany is the leader. 1-0 to Ellis Litley. Vogel, multiple world champion, Olympic champion. Litley looking around now to just see where Vogel is. Can she now add this one? So Christina Vogel, the Olympic team sprint champion. 5 times a world champion on the track in the team sprint, the sprint and the keirin, and a European champion as well. Can she now win this one? She needs to just dismiss Ellis Litley here and not take this to a 3rd ride. Vogel now using her speed to try and jump Ellis Litley, who doesn't quite have that snap that Christina Vogel has. Litley now working hard. Vogel sprinting hard down the back straight into the turns. She has the gap between her and Litley. Christina Vogel is the world champion. She used her expertise, she used her power, she used a snap of the sprint to beat Ellis Litley. What a stunning win by Christina Vogel. That is very, very impressive. The crowd are on their feet and they give a big, big round of applause to Christina Vogel. That was very impressive. Really was. Her coach is emotional. I think he's lived every single pedal stroke of that. Let's take another look at Christina Vogel. That's her 6th world title. You just saw the acceleration. She worked her tactics out. and she used the snap that she has to open up the gap, which meant that Litley was having to work so hard to get back to the wheel. She may have closed up a little bit early, but Vogel was accelerating away. She had the gap out of that turn, and she has daylight that time. There wasn't a tyres width, there was more than a bike. Christina Vogel, the world champion again. She won the sprint in Cali last year in Colombia. She also won the team sprint. Her and Miriam Velter for the first time in many years outside of the medals in the team sprint, but Vogel will go away with the title, and high fives all round. She's such a favorite of the crowd. She's animated, she chats. Fan club are right up there at the top of the track. She chats, she's like a little bundle of energy, and she's going to celebrate this one. Christina Vogel, high fives. It's great to see her win. She seems like she's been around for so long. She's only 24 years of age. Well done, Christina Vogel, world champion. Takes her helmet off, normally blonde haired, now she's dyed it red. I think this has been a bit of a pressure performance from Vogel. Ellis Litley will get the silver medal, and this rider, without a doubt, is a future world champion in the making. She is so strong. She just now has to deal with being beaten by someone who tactically is absolutely nailed. She's superb as far as tactical awareness, how to win and fight is concerned. She wanted that so much. So Christina Vogel walking away. Some people ask about the scars that she has. She was in a collision with a minibus in 2009 when she was out riding, and she recovered, and it's great to see her racing. Let's hear now from the winner of the individual pursuit.
Stefan, congratulations. This is not your first medal, but this is your first gold medal.
Yeah, it's amazing. It really is. I've already have 1 silver and 3 bronze, and now on the top step, that's something else.
The race was difficult. I mean, Jack was very strong till the last kilometer, and then you came back.
Yeah, I always go out quite slow, and I was scared that he might want to catch me, and that's why I pushed a little bit harder in the first laps, and then I just tried to go as hard as I can, and yeah, my coach said, yeah, keep going, he's dying, and I know that in the end I always come back, and yeah, in the end I always remember like praying for glory, and that's what was in my head for the last 2 laps, and I just went as hard out as I could.
For glory, and then you went to celebrate with the fans, or maybe your family. You were really, really happy.
Yeah, I think I had the crowd on my side. At least, yeah, they were amazing, and it was so great, and I was just I let my emotions out. So happy to be here and represent Switzerland and get these rainbow stripes. Yeah.
On top of that, you give Switzerland the first medal and 1 title.
Yeah. It's been a long time since the last title for Switzerland, and yeah, I saw last year when I lost for 2 tenths. It's not going to happen again, and it's always a hard fight in my head because I was a little bit sick, and it's just I always have to keep focus, but in the end I got it and I'm so happy.
Up Swiss, congratulations.
Stefan Kung then, the world champion of the individual pursuit. As he said, he starts slower. And he was a bit worried about Jack Bobridge catching him. Well, he did go off like a rocket. But now we have the
Ladies and gentlemen, the medal ceremony for the UCI
ceremony
World Championships men's
of the individual pursuits.
Mesdames et messieurs, cérémonie protocolaire des championnats du monde, piste UCI, poursuite individuelle homme.
The medals and UCI World Champions jersey will be presented by member of the UCI Management Committee, Emin Muftoglu.
Les médailles et le maillot de champion du monde UCI sont remis par membre du comité directeur de l'UCI, Emin Muftoglu.
Winner of the bronze medal representing France.
Médaille de bronze, représentant la France, Julien Maurice.
Julien Maurice is the bronze medalist. His time 4:21.419, just beating Alexander Serov into fourth place.
Winner of the silver medal representing Australia.
La médaille d'argent pour le représentant de l'Australie.
Jack Bobridge.
Jack Bobridge is the silver medalist, 4:19.184. Bobridge's splits 1:5.921, a 1:2.278, and then 2 1:5s in the final 2 kilometers.
Champions jersey representing Switzerland.
Champion du monde et vainqueur de la médaille d'or de poursuite individuelle, homme des championnats du monde de piste, UCI, le représentant de la Suisse.
Stefan Kung.
Stefan Kung, the world champion, gets the gold medal. Opened up with a 1:9.322 compared to Bobridge's 1:5.921. Then followed it up with 1:2s, a 1:3 and a 1:4 to take the gold medal right at the death. The world champion is Stefan Kung.
Les fleurs sont remises par le président de la casquette de Saint-Quentin-en-Yvelines, Monsieur Michel Logi.
And now the national anthem of Switzerland.
Mesdames et messieurs, l'hymne national de la Suisse.
The men's individual pursuit medalist, Stephen Kung, the world champion. Jack Baldridge is the silver medalist for Australia. Julien Maurice of France in the bronze medal. I don't know what adjustments were being made then, but they make their way off the podium. More action to come. The women's Omnium elimination will be coming up. Well, we had that fantastic round of sprints, didn't we? What a thrilling contest to decide the gold, silver and bronze medals this evening. So let's hear now from the winner of the world title, Christina Vogel.
Christina, congratulations. This gold medal was so hard to catch.
It was a really hard tournament with the qualification, which I made up the fourth. And now that I come in the semi-final against Chan Di-Zong. And it was a bit the gold final from Kari last year. So I needed a decider. So it was a really tough race. And also against Alice Lightly, because she has run lesser heat than me. And I think today I win with my head, not with my leg, because the last 2 days was that much tough. We had some repechage, where some riders win what I never know, what I never thought that I win. The 5 to 8 was really tough and really close. When about lost against, a little like that, yeah. So amazing tournament, tough tournament. I'm just happy now because I think a lot of people accepted that I win, and me too. And we German sprinter don't reach that medals or that places which we wanted and which we maybe accepted. So after what first man and Stefan Bötticher today are out in the sprint tournament, I know, okay, everything counts on me today, and yeah, I come good in that role, and hey, there's my jersey.
Yeah. Mentally, how did you recover from the team sprint and the 4th place?
Yeah, I really don't know what happens in the team sprint. It sucks that much, because you see I'm in a good performance and a good shape, and yeah, it sucks when you can't win a medal. It is that close to win a medal, and we had in Germany as a spelling the wood medal, because for the 4th place. It sucks, yeah. So, but now I'm in good shape, and now I can do it better. Yeah.
So tomorrow, we guess, you will be on top again. How will you approach that?
Come on, I just relax today. I'm just celebrating my medal, and tomorrow I just want to be free and just want to do my ride. And at the end, we will see what will happen. But yes, of course, when I'm defending world champion, I also want to win the medal again this year. But I'm just proud today of myself, and just fall asleep tonight, and then we'll see what we will tomorrow. Yeah.
Wirst du im Deutsch sprechen für die deutsche Fans?
Ja, ich habe hier ganz viele. Danke an Jocke. Wir haben ein super Plakat an der Bande, wo steht Super Vogel. Ihr unterstützt mich so doll. Die ganzen Renner, die hier in der deutschen Nationalmannschaft hier in der Tribüne sind, mich unterstützen. Es ist einfach so doll. Dankeschön. Ich muss meinem Freund danken, meinem Trainer danken, und ich weiß gar nicht, wen ich alles danken muss. Meinem Team, Maximilian, und er hat mir dieses Jahr so viel geholfen, mich so viel Stütze, und einfach, I love you. Danke.
Vielen Dank, Christina. Thank you very much.
Christina Vogel, the world champion of the sprint. As she said, she didn't win, she won with her intelligent riding. I think the experience and the expertise of Vogel really told in those sprints against Alice Lightly. She's the world champion, her 6th title.
Ladies and gentlemen, the medal ceremony for the UCI Track Cycling World Championships Women's Sprint.
Mesdames et messieurs, cérémonie protocolaire des championnats du monde piste UCI vitesse femmes.
jersey will be presented by President of the Union Cycliste Internationale, Brian Cooks, OBE.
Les médailles et le maillot de champion du monde UCI sont remis par le président de l'Union cycliste internationale, M. Brian Coxon, EB.
Winner of the bronze medal representing China.
La médaille de bronze pour la représentante de la Chine.
Tianxi Zhong.
Tianxi Chong is the winner of the bronze medal for China.
Winner of the silver medal representing the Netherlands.
La médaille d'argent pour la représentante des Pays-Bas.
Alice Lickley.
Elise Litley is the silver medalist.
The UCI Track Cycling World Championships Women's Sprint gold medalist and winner of the UCI World Champions jersey, representing Germany.
Championne du monde et vainqueur de la médaille d'or du sprint, femme des championnats du monde de piste, UCI, la représentante de l'Allemagne.
Christina Vogel. Her second world sprint title to go with her 3 team sprints and 1 Keirin title that she has. It's a bit of a big jersey though. Yeah, she's wondering. I think she wants a smaller one, doesn't she? Look.
Les fleurs sont remises par Monsieur Laurent Mazori, conseiller communautaire au sport de Saint-Quentin-en-Yvelines.
Find her a smaller jersey. She's only tiny. She's saying, go and find me one that fits. The gold medalist, the world champion, Christina Vogel. And now the national anthem of Germany. Christina Vogel, the world champion. Shows how tiny she is. It's got junior written on it, her jersey. Some stunning sprinting there to win the world title. Well, don't go away because we've got some more racing this evening. The women's elimination race for the Omnium, a bit like last night. We had a thrilling final race of the evening. So here we go. This is the final race of the night. The women's Omnium elimination. These are the standings so far. Nettie Edmondson is the leader with 70 points. Sharakova in second place from Belarus. Kirsten Wild, the new world champion of the scratch race, in third. And here's the run through of the top 14 riders. A lot to change though over the next 4 events. We've had 2 events so far. So get ready, this is the elimination race. Of course, the action in this race always happens at the back of the string. It's all about the riders who are eliminated until we get down to the last few riders. Join in and work out who's been eliminated each time. The riders have the little orange box on the handlebars that flashes red. It tells them they're out. And there we go. So the field all lining up. Some fantastic bike riders in this women's field. Thank you to all of you for joining me again for tonight's coverage of these World Track Championships in Saint-Quentin-en-Yvelines. This is just outside Versailles in Paris, not too far away, just a short journey. So we'll guide you through the action and we'll find out who is going to end day 1 as the leader. This is the current leader there in the Australian colours, Annette Edmondson. Rides on the road now for the Wiggle Honda team. The Belarusian there at the front, Tatiana Sharakova. She's a former world champion of the points race in 2011, there on the right-hand side. And they're underway. So the elimination then, all about the action at the back of the string as the riders get eliminated. And we've got onboard cameras in this race tonight. Caroline Ryan in the green at the front. The bell goes to signify the first rider to be eliminated in the next lap, and it is Wojtyra of Poland who's at the back in the red and white, who is in a little bit of difficulty. We'll see which rider is squeezed out, and this time the first rider to go. Looks like at the back number 35 was the rider who was in some trouble. The rider from Hong Kong, China. And that is Jiao Wan, who is out of the race. The first rider. It's right in the race now with the onboard cameras. You can see the Spanish rider there in the red and white as we go past Simona Frapporti. And at the back of the string now, the Lithuanian rider in some trouble is Oslin Trabaita. Trabaita then eliminated, number 43, Twines of bronze medalist in the European Championships. The 26-year-old is taken out of the string. So you get the idea now of the elimination. All the action goes on at the back. Some riders like to ride at the back and just eliminate a rider every single time. It's quite a hard way to ride the race. And it's Wojtyra going around the top. Laura Trott's trying to squeeze through in the middle. And Wojtyra at that time, number 50, is eliminated. Twice a silver medalist and one time a bronze medalist in the European Championships, but she's no longer in the race. And at the back, it's Amelie de Theriksen of Denmark, twice a junior world champion in the road race, who's now trying to avoid being eliminated. The Cuban rider, on the other hand, looks around and realizes there's no one there. Marlies Mejias and de Theriksen and Caroline Ryan and Frapporti all sprinting. The Cuban rider then eliminated, Marlies Mejias. Number 13, an unlucky number for her tonight. Amelie de Theriksen in the red and white, a real talent, as we see Oliveira in the red and yellow on the camera there, right in on the wheel. De Theriksen, we saw her win in Ponferrada in the World Championships with a fantastic attack, and then actually winning from a sprint. She's such a good bike rider. Caroline Ryan at the bottom, Frapporti also in trouble. So the 26-year-old Simona Frapporti, is not eliminated, so 38. Caroline Ryan, the bronze medalist in the World Championships in the scratch. Caroline Ryan is now out of the race. She doesn't believe it, so she is still in there. There is Laura Trott right in on the camera. Laura Trott, the Olympic champion of this discipline. Caroline Ryan now out. She's at the back of the race. And number 42 is Simona Frapporti, stage winner in the Route de France. The judges don't seem to be eliminating anyone that time, which is a bit strange. And she's again in a little bit of trouble. She's been almost eliminated every lap for the last 4 or 5. The camera on a bike of a rider in trouble at the back. And the Chinese rider trying to squeeze through there. Number 8 then is removed. Tatiana Sharakova, the 30-year-old world champion in the points race in 2011. She's no longer in the race. And at the blue, in the Azzurra blue, it's Frapporti who's trying to eliminate Laura Trott, who goes around the top. This is going to be pretty close. The French rider is being urged on by the crowd. Oops, a little bit of kicking going on there at the back of the race. Laura Trott goes to the front, decides to get out of trouble. Possibly Anna Kanawa that time, but we'll just have a look. 23, Laurie Burton, the French Omnium champion, the 23-year-old, is taken out of the race. That was close, and it's Anna Kanawa now in some trouble. But the Chinese rider also in difficulty. This is Tian Wan, who looks like she is going to be removed from the race. Laura Trott now on the front. But right on the line, it's the German rider, Anna Kanawa. She's a rider for Rabo Liv, a teammate of Marianne Vos, the German road race champion of 2013. She's removed from the action now as Annette Edmondson decides it's time to go to the front, riding an intelligent race for Australia. So at the back of the race now, the Chinese rider trying to squeeze through, but she doesn't manage to do it. And it's Tian Wan of China who's been removed. At the back then, you can see Sarah Hammer. Sarah Hammer who had the tussles with Laura Trott, trying to move up. She looks like she's suffering a little bit in this race, and Annette Edmondson being squeezed out a little bit. And somehow Simona Frapporti is still in there.
42, Simona Frapporti, Italy.
This time she is removed from the action. We thought she'd been removed a little while ago, but the judges didn't remove the rider at the back, so Simona Frapporti is there. And now Annette Edmondson is in a bit of trouble at the back. She is the leader. She doesn't want to be removed from the action this early. This would cost her the lead. But she looks like she's got sore legs at the moment. She moves up on the outside. Sarah Hammer then is removed, I think, number 57. Twice a world champion. She did look like she was struggling, and Sarah Hammer slams the handlebars. She's not happy, is she? Very, very angry indeed. Well, to be fair, she was at the rider at the back of the race that time. Sarah Hammer is very, very angry with her performance. I haven't seen her slam her handlebars like that. Not any time. Laura Trott now in some trouble. Lucy Zaleska of the Czech Republic now is removed from the race. And Laura Trott now looks around, realises only one rider there. She's got to move up, the Olympic champion. She seems to be getting caught a little bit at the back. I spoke to Laura in the break, and she's got a bit of a cough after some hard racing. She was very, very unhappy with her scratch race. And then she won the individual pursuit. Annette Edmondson trying to squeeze through. One rider eliminated. I think it's Lira Orabaria, the bronze medalist in 2010.
Number 20, Lira Orabaria, Spain.
So Laura Trott trying to track Annette Edmondson. And the Russian rider is now towards the back of the race now. And she looks like she's in difficulty, but Annette Edmondson also struggling a little. Amelie de Theriksen is also there. And Annette Edmondson looks like she's really hurting in this race. This is having to, she could be eliminated, and she is. So Annette Edmondson now is removed, which is going to now play into the hands of those trying to challenge her. Annette Edmondson finishing 7th in this race now. Well, she's had such a stunning time in these World Championships. The Australian rider. Now it's starting to look like anyone's race. Still the Russian rider is playing a game of poker at the back. And that is Tamara Balabalina. Finally, she is removed from the action.
52, Tamara Balabalina, Russia.
So the current standings before this race: Annette Edmondson was the leader, Sarah Hammer in 2nd, Sharakova in 3rd, Olabriya in 4th, Caroline Ryan in 5th, Kirsten Wild in 6th, Balabalina in 7th, Laura Trott in a place she's not used to in 10th place. But right now, Annette Edmondson's gone, Sarah Hammer has gone. And so the positions are going to change quite a lot. And de Theriksen now is removed from the race. Down to the last 4 riders, and they are Kirsten Wild, Julian Dora, Laura Trott, and also in here for New Zealand is Raquel Sheath, a rider who is actually studying aviation management, interestingly. Laura Trott trying to move up to get rid of another rider. And it looks like the New Zealander this time is going to be out. So it's going to come down to these 3 riders. Now, before the start here, Kirsten Wild was 7th, Laura Trott was 10th, Julian Dora was in 12th place. So now the things are going to change around a little bit. And if things stayed like this, Edmondson would still be the leader. But I think things are going to close up here in terms of the overall standings. There's Laura Trott on the back wheel of Kirsten Wild. Julian Dora. Laura Trott goes around the top. She's going to eliminate Julian Dora now. Oh, very close between those two. Who is out that time? They're looking at their boxes. Julian Dora of Belgium now is out. So it's down to Kirsten Wild. And of course, Kirsten Wild has just won a world title. Laura Trott looks like she's a lot happier now in this race. The Olympic champion in a race she loves. And she's got a good sprint. She's going to go neck and neck with Kirsten Wild, just doesn't have the legs. And Laura Trott leaves her behind. Laura Trott right on top of her game again. She had a shock in the scratch race, but she's just riding away to win the elimination race. Laura Trott, the world champion, Olympic champion, twice a silver medalist, wins the elimination. That's 2 wins for Laura Trott. So just to update you then on the standings, that will mean that Kirsten Wild will be the leader with 102 points. Annette Edmondson will have 98 and Laura Trott will have 96. So the positions overall changing around, and now there are only 6 points between the top 3 riders. Kirsten Wild, Annette Edmondson and Laura Trott. And Laura Trott, having had a terrible start earlier on in the scratch race, will go to bed tonight with a much bigger smile on her face. With 2 wins in the last 2 races, she has somehow, there's the smile back. It wasn't there earlier on. The women's Omnium elimination. Laura Trott of Great Britain wins. Kirsten Wild in 2nd, Julian Dora in 3rd, and there's the top 7. There's the top 14. Sarah Hammer being eliminated early, which means that she's now down in 6th. 20 points off the lead. And the top 20. So Laura Trott making her way into the centre of the track. A bit more of a smile. She'll warm down a little bit. She had a little chat to me earlier. She said to me, what was that all about? What a turnaround, she said. From the scratch race disappointment to winning the pursuit, and now she'll be very much happier. As she walked away, she had 2 little cubes of a chocolate bar, a healthy one, to help her recover. There's the standings then as we end day 1 of the Omnium. Kirsten Wild 102 points, Annette Edmondson 98, Laura Trott with 96. And there's the top 7 riders as we end day 1. Well, let's take a look here. Laura Trott and Kirsten Wild. Wild just had no legs left to go with that. Very tired after her world title, and you wonder whether Kirsten Wild will have enough recovery for tomorrow. She's raced really, really hard today, and winning a world title will always take a lot out of you. Laura Trott smiling away. She's in prime position with Annette Edmondson and Julian Dora for the fight for tomorrow. Well, let's take a look at how the medals stand at the end of today. 15 events have been decided. Germany at the top with 7, France in 2nd with 4, 3 golds. Australia in 3rd place, you might be surprised, with 2 golds, 4 silvers and 3 bronze. And Great Britain down there in 10th place, the United States in 12th. And after Gaviria's win, Colombia move into 8th. And Malaysia with a Wang's win yesterday, 1 medal. So what are we going to bring you on the final day of competition? Here we are. This is what we're going to show you. Well, we go through the normal schedule, and then tomorrow's a bit earlier, so make sure that you keep a good eye on what action we're going to bring you, the finals of the various competitions, another 4 medals to be decided. And the finals will bring you from 2 o'clock French time, the men's sprint semi-finals. The women's Omnium points race will decide the women's Omnium tomorrow. And the women's Keirin as well will bring you the finals of those. And we'll end up with the men's Madison to round things off. Well, there we go. A great day of racing. Thanks very much for joining me again. We're going to leave you with some highlights of today's racing. Bye for now.